See this guy right here? His name is Kenga, former gym coach, a virgin, an orphan, and totally broke and unemployed. And to top it all off, now he's stuck in hell, getting sucked dry by giant mosquitoes, torn apart by goblins, and dying hundreds of times. In every brutal way you can possibly imagine. How did he end up there? It all starts with a dungeon. After the dungeon showed up, everyone's life got turned upside down. Awakened power training centers? Totally useless now. And now, he's got to get his hands dirty literally digging through crap with his best buddy just to find low-grade mana crystals and make a living. But then, one day, everything changed and a flash pendant started to glow and shine with this crazy, intense light. Before he could even react, boom, he got teleported to a desert wasteland. A totally wrecked, apocalyptic world. Now, the monsters, were they Kenga? Or were the Kenga actually the monsters? Let's check it out, my friends. Kang is totally lost, looking around in every direction, his head spinning, full of questions. What on earth is going on? Where did I end up? Before he can even process anything, a notification pops up right in his face, like a big old pop-up window. The system tells him he's just shattered every known barrier. Now his body has mana, and for the first time ever, this energy starts flowing through him. He's totally glitched out. Staring at that notification shining right in front of him like, is this for real? Dude, just as he starts face purgator, boom, another notification pops up. The system lays it out for Kang. He did the impossible, jumped straight into hell mode with the lowest level in all of humanity. And that's not even the end of it. Kang just scored the rank. SSS, title holy smokes. Talk about luck. It's such an insanely rare title that even the system is blown away. But wait, 2 more notifications pop up. One says Kang is the very first to unlock hell mode, and the other one declares he's the strongest in hell, the one and only, the sole owner of that title. Kang is reading all this with his jaw on the floor. The system just drops the bomb. He's the last survivor of all this madness. Those notifications hit Kang like an anvil to the head, and he's left standing there with this look like, wait, what? The last survivor? Does that mean he's the only human left in the whole world? Are you kidding me? His heart starts pounding and he just starts yelling, his voice echoing through that freaky emptiness. He shouts out, calling for any other human. Desperate to find out if there's anyone else around, his cries slice through the air, but nobody answers. Now panic starts to set in. It's rising up, and suddenly, his eyes light up. He spots a distant crystal, glowing purple, shining like crazy. He freezes, staring at the crystal with eyes wide as saucers. That crystal he'd been searching for. The crystal moose he'd busted his butt to find. And now it was right there in front of him, untouched, flawless. Kang edges a little closer, barely believing his eyes. He knows just how insanely valuable this crystal is, even a tiny, dark little chunk would fetch a fortune. But this one, my friend, is pure, perfect, worth thousands. Kang grabs the crystal, gripping it tight, already dreaming about all the cash he could rake in. With that, he cracks a smile for the first time in years and thinks, man, now I've really hit the jackpot. But before the guy can even celebrate, a thick black mist starts swirling around him, and totally chill, almost innocent, he ends up breathing it in. The effect is instant. It feels like a million needles are stabbing every inch of his body. Kang's chest tightens. A hellish pain takes over, and blood starts pouring from his mouth. When he collapses to the ground, the guy's choking hard, can't even catch a breath. His body's twisting in pure agony. Then the system drops the cold, hard truth, the poison has entered your body. Kang is now completely paralyzed. His resistance is dropping fast. He has no idea what's going on. It feels like a swarm of ants is grinding him down. At the same time, he screams, and the echo of his voice fills the landscape, desperate and in serious pain. But then, a system notification pops up saying an unknown enemy attacked him. Kang looks around, searching for whoever attacked him, but he doesn't see a soul. The pain blinds him, darkness swallowing up his vision, and he struggles to move with what little strength he has left. He drags himself forward, trying to reach the bell that's hanging low to the ground, but his body betrays him, and he can't even breathe. The pain is absolutely unbearable, and that's it. Kang gives in and collapses, lifeless. The system sends its final message. You died due to level 1 fine dust. Survival time, 4 minutes and 32 seconds. Somewhere in Kang's subconscious he thinks, fine dust? What the heck is that? I died because of this stupid dust. Seriously. A wave of disbelief washes over his heart. What a ridiculous way to die, huh? Right? After a while, Kang opens his eyes and finds himself lying on the ground. Cold. His whole body is completely numb. He gets up slowly, wondering if this is all just a nightmare. But when he opens his eyes again, he realizes the truth. He's still stuck in that hellish, apocalyptic world. The system pops up again, sending him a new mission. Survive. The first brutal night. Kang freezes, his mind racing a mile a minute. He realizes this isn't a dream. Nope, not at all. This is reality at its absolute worst. Fear hits him hard, and he grabs the shirt off the floor. He throws on the jacket and starts running like a madman. In his head, Kang wonders, who's behind this? Who's pulling this massive prank on me? He clenches his fists in pure rage, thinking that whoever's doing this just wants to keep torturing him like this. Frustrated, he swears to himself that he's going to get revenge, even if it's the last thing he does. But fate's got other plans, my friends. As he's running, Kang breathes in that poisonous dust again. His body starts convulsing and he collapses. The system chimes in with another update. Survival time, 5 minutes and 22 seconds. Hey, it's going up. But death isn't done with him yet. Oh no, not even close. The guy dies 8 times in a row, his body breaking a little more each time and suffering like crazy. Kang is sitting on the floor, totally wiped out, completely defeated. His breathing is ragged, his body's shaking, and he takes a deep breath and throws up, apologizing to himself and to God, begging whoever's behind all this to just make it stop. He feels totally lost, and moments later, he passes out again, succumbing to the poison one more time. But this time, it's a whole different story. He manages to survive for 11 minutes and 13 seconds. Right before his body gives out, when Kang opens his eyes again, the system pops up to let him know his poison resistance has leveled up. Paralysis resistance too. A spark of hope lights up in Kang's mind, and he realizes his body is slowly adapting. Then, a brilliant idea hits him. What if he inhales all this dust? Maybe he'll build up total immunity. Just like that, his desperation pushes him to go for it. So Kang starts taking deep breaths, deliberately sucking in the poisonous dust. And his body holds out for 24 minutes before giving out again, bumping his death count up to 14. Kang just sits there meditating, focusing on his breathing. With every inhale, he swallows more poison, enduring all that excruciating pain. The system keeps targeting him, and Kang discovers that his resistance to poison and paralysis just keeps climbing, non-stop. He closes his eyes and remembers something his grandpa once taught him. It was a weird breathing technique, but man, was it effective? His grandpa used to say that this technique would one day help Kang get through anything. So he starts tapping into all those memories. He focuses on his breathing, forcing air deep into his lungs. Even with the poison, his grandpa's words echo in his mind. With this technique, you'll keep moving forward, no matter what happens. Kang has no idea why all this is happening to him, but he clings to the technique like it's his one and only lifeline. Darkness swallows Kang up once again, and yep, he dies one more time, but this time, he managed to survive for an incredible 1 hour, 41 minutes, and 21 seconds, my friends. After 28 deaths, Kang finally opens his eyes, totally stunned. His body feels light, like he could just float away. A weird sensation rushes through his whole body. And then, the system pops up to notify him that his body has hit a critical point. Kang has unlocked a rare skill, Poison Blood. Now, he's completely immune to poison damage. He stares at that notification, both confused and amazed, with no clue what just happened. But one thing's for sure, that poisonous dust is never going to bother him again. Now, he's got a wild idea bouncing around in his head. If he managed to breathe in all that dust, did his body actually absorb it and build up resistance? He looks down at his hands and squints hard. If the system notification is right, that means his body fluids have turned poisonous. Now that's interesting. And he's freaked out, but also totally pumped. What kind of crazy weirdness is this going to turn into? But he doesn't have much time to dwell on it. Kang, now that he's managed to survive for another hour, finally decides to check out his surroundings, sneaking around nice and easy. Kang spots something up ahead, a chunk of crystal and some moss lying on the ground. He picks up the crystal, and his mind just starts racing. If he took this thing back to the real world, he'd be a millionaire in no time. The value of the crystal is undeniable, but then another thought flashes through Kang's mind. This can't be real. Even though it looks real, Kang keeps scheming about how to smuggle the crystal into the real world, when suddenly, the system pops up a message on the screen, asking if he wants to stash the crystal in his inventory. Without even thinking, Kang accepts right away, and in the blink of an eye, the crystal vanishes, right out of his hands. The system notifies him that Kang's inventory has been unlocked. Now the guy's standing there, mouth wide open, totally stunned. He opens up his inventory and realizes, nope, this isn't a dream. He really does have the power to store items. He can barely handle this much excitement. He didn't even know how to do that before. His mind starts racing again, dreaming up all the crystals he can now stash away safely. But just as Kang starts to celebrate, a weird noise cuts him off. The sound keeps getting louder and louder. Kang whips around, eyes wide with terror, as what looks like a thick black mist comes barreling toward him at insane speed. Oh snap, his breath catches in his throat, and then he realizes it's not mist at all. It's a swarm of giant mosquitoes. There are so many of them, it actually looks like a dark cloud. Wasting zero time, Kang bolts like a madman, yelling, "What the heck is that, dude? Are you kidding me?" Then, the system beeps again, warning him that level 3 mosquitoes have appeared. Kang is panting and totally frustrated. He knows there's a ton of mosquitoes. Even though he's trying his hardest to escape, he's just not fast enough, and the swarm closes in, swallowing him up whole. Kang desperately tries to fight them off, throwing punches and kicks, but those bugs don't even budge. They start sucking on Kang from every direction. The attacks just don't stop. Then, the unbelievable happens. The mosquitoes force their way into Kang's mouth, and with a grotesque explosion, they burst out from every side. Kang's body falls apart, blood splattering everywhere, while the mosquitoes guzzle up every last drop, him leaving nothing behind. But their party doesn't last long. As soon as they finish off all of Kang's blood, something shocking happens. They pop like bubbles, setting off a powerful explosion all over the place. The system announces that Kang survived for 6 hours and 18 minutes. A few moments later, Kang's consciousness returns, and he finds himself back at the respawn point, his head throbbing with pain. The system chimes in again, letting Kang know he's earned a new achievement, poisoned and wiped out over 100 monsters in one go. Kang's poisonous power just shot up like crazy. He heard this, and it totally confirmed what he'd been thinking. The mosquitoes died because of his blood. Is blood really as toxic? But wait a second, the mosquitoes died from sucking his blood. Does that mean his future wife would kick the bucket if she went down on his little buddy? Dude, what a wild thought. Seriously. So he starts celebrating his very first victory against the monsters. But of course, the happiness didn't last long. The system pops up again, warning that some unknown disease has infected Kang's body, and his health starts dropping. Like, super fast. Poor guy, the frustration just starts overflowing. Kang starts yelling like, "What the heck is this mess?" But before he can even finish complaining, he falls to the ground and crashes into an old busted chair, smashing it to pieces. The system chimes in and says Kang has learned a new skill: dismantling. Lying there on the floor, Kang, he doesn't know whether to laugh or cry. Should he be happy about getting a new skill? Is he bummed out because he just caught malaria in hell? A few moments later, the system notifies him that his health has dropped below 10%. But thanks to his title as the strongest person in hell, all diseases are wiped from his body. Kang, still totally glitched out, decides to test his new skill. He grabs the broken chair. If he uses this dismantling skill, maybe he can figure out how it works. So he says the word out loud and activates the skill. And to his surprise, the chair parts come apart and get organized perfectly. Kang looks at all those pieces and finds the skill super interesting. He picks up one of the chair parts and starts thinking hard. He broke the chair by crashing into it, and that's how he got the dismantling skill. If that's the case, does that mean he can unlock infinite skills just by doing random stuff in this hellhole? So he decides to test his theory. He puts the chair back together, thinking he might get another skill as soon as he's done. The system then announces that he's learned the creation skill, confirming his brilliant theory. Man, this guy's gotta be using some kind of cheat code. Seriously. They need to invent a whole new word for his system. The scene shifts, and now we see Kang sitting in his corner, meditating. Kang thinks to himself that he has no idea how long he'll be stuck in this weird place, so he gathers everything he needs to survive. He gets up and starts collecting all the stored crystals, putting them in his inventory. While searching, Kang finds a newspaper, but the language it's written in is totally foreign to him. Kang really focuses, trying hard to decipher the text. And after a long while, the system notifies him that he's learned a new language. Kang is genuinely surprised. In this hellish place, it looks like he can pick up new skills just like that. All he has to do is try doing pretty much anything. He starts reading the newspaper and spots the name of a city, Tongjil. That name sounds super familiar. So he figures out that this city actually exists in the real world. This discovery makes him wonder if this place is somehow connected to the real world. He thinks about it for a second, but then decides to just let it go. Even if this place in the real world was connected somehow, he needed to focus on two things: surviving and finding a way to get back as fast as possible. So he comes to a decision, sits down in front of the stuff he collected, including the leftover mosquito bits. Some of them died after sucking Kang's blood. The rest, he took out himself, super carefully. He uses his dismantling skill, breaking the mosquitoes down into all sorts of parts for 2 or 3 hours straight. Kang works non-stop, taking apart mosquito after mosquito until he finally just flops onto the ground. Totally wiped out, he stares at the loot he's gathered: wings, poisonous blood, and even mosquito poop. Kang looks at this bizarre collection and wonders, what the heck is he supposed to do with all this stuff? All? Then, bam! A light bulb goes off. Why not make a poison dart? With mosquito blood in one hand and a feather in the other, that could be pretty interesting. Kang pictures a dart in his mind, and the moment he focuses, he activates his crafting skill. And just like that, a rare item called the Infernal Dart pops into his hand. Like magic. Folks, just like magic. The system chimes in to announce his success, and Kang stares at the dart, totally impressed. With this skill alone, he could create some seriously amazing stuff. He gets super pumped and uses the rest of the mosquito feathers, the poisonous blood, and the dart materials to whip up even more darts. But Kang's not stopping there. Oh no, not even close. He pushes his skill to the absolute limit. He focuses, channeling his crafting ability into all the darts at once. Kang starts to wonder what would happen if he combined them all into something truly legendary. Then, his system reacts with total shock. Congratulations, Kang. You've created an unknown legendary egg. He looks down at his hand and sees a little white egg. It's about the size of his palm. The system warns him that this is an unknown legendary egg. But not even the system knows what's going to hatch from it. And there's a 50% chance that a living creature will pop out of there. And it'll only hatch when a few special criteria are met. Kang is totally baffled. What kind of criteria are we talking about here? A wild idea suddenly pops into his head. If he keeps it warm like a chicken egg, will it hatch? Well, he knows there's a 50% chance. So, without overthinking it, he tucks the egg against his chest and just sits there, waiting. Time goes by, but the egg doesn't hatch. Then he realizes what he's actually doing. Kang suddenly feels a massive wave of embarrassment crash over him, and he's dying of shyness, thinking about how ridiculous he must look, and honestly, he really does. Kang quickly snaps back to reality, totally mortified by his little experiment. But hey, Kang can't afford to be embarrassed. Nope, not for long, because he hears heavy footsteps, echoing through the middle of the building. His heart starts racing, and he hides behind a pillar. Peeking out, he tries to see where that sound is coming from. Then his eyes go wide as saucers when he spots an old goblin strutting into the building, wielding a massive sword. Kang tries to stay as quiet as humanly possible, but his own breathing totally betrays him. The goblin's ears twitch, and with a wicked grin, he dashes straight toward Kang's hiding spot. Kang realizes the goblin has found him, and without even thinking twice, gets ready to bolt. But the goblin is insanely fast, and in the blink of an eye, he swings that gigantic machete, aiming to slice Kang's neck into a million pieces. But Kang, trusting every bit of his reflexes, dodges the attack at the very last second. His eyes dart around and he spots a staircase in the corner of the building. No hesitation, not even for a heartbeat. Kang bolts for the stairs, climbing as fast as his legs can possibly carry him. But that goblin isn't about to let him get away. Chasing after Kang at a ridiculous speed, its heavy footsteps pounding the ground, Kang starts to panic, opens his inventory, and grabs his legendary staff. Gritting his teeth, he whirls around to face the goblin and swings the staff with everything he's got. But the goblin doesn't even flinch. It leaps effortlessly, dodging the attack like it's no big deal. The goblin lands on the ground, spreading its arms wide in a massive show of confidence, like it's straight up mocking Kang. With a grin plastered on its face, its expression basically screams, "You're nothing but a joke to me, you little worm." A system notification pops up letting him know that this goblin is a red-caped goblin. Level 20. Kang's stomach drops. It flashes, level 20. He knows that taking down a goblin is pretty much impossible. But the goblin doesn't give him a second to think. Nope. With a savage attack, it unleashes a flurry of blows. Every single swing of that machete is out to take Kang's head clean off. He dodges each attack in a panic, barely escaping, sweating buckets and gasping for air. But then, disaster strikes. Kang's staff snaps, under the sheer force of the goblin's assault. Kang freezes for a split second, and the goblin, noticing this, grins even wider and starts talking to Kang in his own language. Kang is stunned. This monster is insanely smart. Is unprecedented. Ladies and gentlemen, monsters in the real world are usually just dumb brutes. But this goblin, with a razor-sharp mind and deadly skills, he's on a whole different level, no question about it. As Kang keeps his eyes on the goblin, he notices the goblin's ripped abs flexing powerfully. Run, you're totally crushing on him. On the goblin, right? He's gonna kill you, dude. That just confirms what Kang already knows. There's no way he can beat this monster in his current state. He seriously needs to call the Goblin Slayer, is not it? But just as despair starts to creep in, a wild idea pops into his head. Kang opens up his inventory and grabs every single one of his poison darts. He hurls the dart straight at the goblin, but the goblin reacts with insane speed. He slices every dart out of the air with that massive machete of his. Their attacks are so powerful that the darts just shatter in midair. One of the goblin swings is so brutal, it slashes Kang right in the chest, leaving him gasping for air. Blood trickles from the wound, but Kang's stubbornness finally pays off. One of the poison darts hits the goblin's right hand. The effect is instant. The goblin's hand starts to sizzle. His flesh is reacting to the venom. Realizing the danger, the goblin doesn't even hesitate. He chops off his own hand to stop the poison from spreading through his whole body. Kang stares in shock, wondering if the sizzling was caused by the dart or the goblin's poisonous blood. But before Kang can figure it out, the goblin suddenly vanishes from the system. Kang starts frantically searching for the goblin everywhere, but it's already too late. The goblin reappears behind him up in the air. And with a devastating blow, the goblin slashes Kang's chest wide open, draining every last bit of energy from his body. Kang collapses to the ground, completely overwhelmed by that intense, searing pain. Kill Goblin, triumphant and victorious, plants his feet on Kang's back like he's claiming a trophy and bursts out laughing loud enough to echo through the whole empty building. Convinced that Kang is dead, the goblin steps back and starts to leave, tossing one last taunt Kang's way in his own language, of course. He didn't even realize there were still humans alive in this world. So the goblin struts out, leaving Kang motionless on the floor. And just as Kang's vision starts to fade, a faint smile creeps onto his lips at the very moment he wakes up. He curses the goblin under his breath, just quiet enough so the goblin can't hear, right? Seething with rage, he swears he's going to kill that goblin and wipe out his whole family. The fire of revenge blazes in his eyes as he takes a deep breath, trying to calm himself down. His whole body starts face to shake and tremble all over. And right then, the system chimes in to announce that Kang has completed the mission. He survived his first hellish night well, survived by dying, right? Literally. But the notifications don't stop there, my friends. The system says Kang performed even better than expected. And because of that, he's not just getting a silver box, but a gold one too. And on top of that, the system, it also says he completed the mission. And now he can use the inscribed stone to escape from hell in just 14 measly days. Whoa! Then he heard the name of that inscribed stone. And right away, he started to realize the system was talking about his necklace. As soon as he grabs the necklace, it starts to glow. Kang's vision fades into darkness, and everything around him just vanishes. When Kang opens his eyes, he's lying on the ground and rain is pouring down from the sky, soaking him completely, and little by little, he realizes he's not in hell anymore. He's back in the real world. Seeing that familiar place, Kang is hit with a wave of pure joy. Unable to hold back his excitement, he throws his hands up to the sky and shouts, loud, saying he's back. I am back. His laughter echoes through the rain as he grabs the necklace around his neck, totally fuming. He rips the necklace off and throws it to the ground, yelling that every bad thing that's ever happened to him is because of that stupid piece of junk, and he swears he's going to smash that necklace right then and there, but just as he lifts his foot to stomp on it, he hesitates. A thought crosses his mind through all the anger he's been through. The experience has given him unique and dangerous abilities, and for the first time, he awakens something he had always dreamed of. Kang can't destroy the necklace. Instead, he holds it tightly. He finds tears falling down his face, thinking that he managed to survive. Of course, after dying several times, right? He doesn't notice it then. A voice calling out to him, a female voice. Let's say she shouts his name. He then snaps back to reality and sees a woman running toward him in the middle of that rain. And she starts asking, yelling what he's doing there, lying down, soaked in the rain, and she says he could get sick. The woman comes very close and takes off her jacket, putting it over his shoulders. The warmth of that jacket, it's remarkable. And Kang realizes that the woman is none other than Ying, his childhood friend. She is tremendously worried about him. After all, he's extremely close to contaminated marine waste, and if he stays there, he could end up being poisoned. She notices Kang's mental state and insists that he go to her house. But Kang is sitting there, confused and overwhelmed, wondering why such a beautiful woman is his childhood friend and has invited him to her house. His heart races as he tries to make sense of the whole situation, and the next thing he knows, he's already at Ying's house. She wraps him in the jacket, as if she were a mother wrapping her child. And after the shower, Kang stays there calling out to Ying, unable to process everything. Ying approaches him with a smile on her face, holding a mana contamination remover. And she says he should use it on his body in case he was poisoned by infernal mana. But Kang starts rolling his eyes, annoyed by her suggestion, right? Why is that? He starts saying that Ying doesn't need to worry about anything. And then she starts yelling at him, frustrated that he is treating her body so carelessly. She goes on to say that if he keeps up this reckless behavior, she'll have to attend his funeral in a few days. He then becomes surprised by her reaction and agrees to use the contamination remover. The scene then changes, and we see Kang coming out of the bathroom, his hair wet and looking deep in thought. Our boy is ripped now. Seriously, he's absolutely shredded. He asks her what day it is today, and she, who was sitting and reading a book, answers that it is September 11th. And when she looks at Kang, his shredded body catches her attention. His body has changed a lot, hasn't it? Kang used to look fragile, weak like a recluse, and now he's super fit, with an extremely attractive physique. Yumi can't take her eyes off him and asks if he did something to his body in the past few days, since he looks so different. She remembers that she tried calling him several times in the past few days, but she couldn't get in touch. Yin's gaze becomes intense, examining Kang's transformed figure. Infatuated with him, Certainty stares at him in disbelief and curiosity. But his thoughts are somewhere else. He's thinking about how he spent 2 years in hell, and there's a detail he still hasn't noticed. Meanwhile, Yumi tries to control her naughty thoughts, telling herself she needs to pull herself together. Kang notices Yin's intense gaze and starts to feel embarrassed. He grabs a towel and quickly covers his chest. He manages to cover his upper body, but the lower part is still exposed, which makes everything even more awkward. Yin observes everything and tries to change the subject, saying that he can't stay in inappropriate clothing. She then hands him some clothes, trying to keep her tone neutral. And Kang, feeling extremely awkward, considers the idea of wearing In's clothes. But then In points to his torn and dirty clothes. She insists that he has no other option, poor guy. She leaves the room, letting Kang decide what he's going to do. Kang wonders if the system notifications will work in that world. Opening his inventory, he is extremely relieved to see that everything works perfectly. But still, Kang opens the golden reward box, and inside he finds shiny silver and gold tickets. One of the tickets is selected at random, and the system notifies him that he has won a legendary battle companion. Kang is now surprised, since in Korea, only 7 people have legendary abilities. Even having a rare ability is already something special. It's already a special treatment, but a legendary skill is something extremely different. He then wonders again, could he become the 8th legendary hunter? Could he reach the SSS rank like the others? While he's thinking, he clenches his fists, believing that if he punches hard enough, his ability will activate automatically. Clinton starts punching the air, testing his limits and his new abilities. As he's throwing punches in the air, the towel swings, and suddenly she notices his strange behavior and freezes, not knowing what to do. The two of them are caught in a bizarre and awkward moment, when Kang realizes just how strange that scene looks. He tries to explain himself, but the words just disappear, poor guy. Suddenly a silence falls between them, and she starts to say that she'll pretend she didn't see anything. After he pulls himself together, Kang asks In about her research on monocrystals. She confirms that she really is studying monocrystals. Kang smiles and says he has something interesting to show her. He then opens his inventory and takes out a huge chunk of monocrystal. The girl is left speechless when the crystal appears in Kang's hand. Its size and weight, almost a kilo, leave her speechless. Her mind struggles to process everything she's seeing, and she starts to say, in disbelief, that this can't be real. No. Kang, holding the crystal with tremendous confidence, tells her to examine it to see if it's really genuine. And she's still stunned. She starts to stammer, trying to find the words to respond. Meanwhile, Kang is extremely proud, holding the mana crystal in his hands, while Yin looks at him in silence, not understanding what just happened. After that, Yumi, looking at the crystal, says that it's impossible to find a crystal this large and pure. Where could he have gotten that from? She explains that high-quality crystals are only found in S-rank dungeons and that they are super rare and difficult to explore. There are only about 5 or 6 dungeons like that in the whole world. It's almost impossible to get crystals outside of those places. Hearing that explanation, Kang smiles and then asks, why do those researchers choose such a dangerous job of collecting just to get low-level crystals for research? And he confirms that was exactly the intention. Then Kang starts laughing, saying that First of all, he doesn't intend to give her the crystal for free, but if she does something for him, maybe he'll let her research the crystal for free. At that, she becomes visibly irritated and frustrated, asking what he wants. He simply says that he needs to find a buyer willing to purchase all the crystals he collected. Then, extremely irritated, she explains that selling such a large and pure crystal will require a ton of paperwork and legal procedures. The size of that crystal alone already makes it almost impossible to sell without complications. Kang just ignores her concerns. If the size is a problem, then it's no problem at all. Without hesitation, Kang breaks the crystal into 2 pieces, right in front of her. Ayumi almost had her soul ripped out of her body. She becomes extremely furious, starting to yell and hitting him on the back. She accuses him of destroying a 5-star moss crystal, and she explains that by breaking it, the purity and value of the crystal dropped significantly. And with tears in her eyes, poor thing, disappointed, she starts saying that she wanted to conduct research with the untouched crystal, and that her dream was completely destroyed. What? Kang, seeing her cry, tries to comfort her and assures her that if she helps him sell the crystal, he has many more intact crystals she can use for her research. But Kang sets a few conditions. The first is that no one can know. He is the seller. And the second is that no one can find out the origin of the crystal. Yumi, moved, agrees to the terms and starts wiping away her tears. After everything is settled, Kang tells Yim that he will come back and get his wet clothes. He starts to say that he's going to buy some clothes at the market, but In tells him that he's not going anywhere. No, he's going to stay at her house. Now Kang is surprised by how insistent she is. Apparently he's being forced to stay at her house, and she insists that he will sleep at her place, period. Morning comes and the scene shifts to Kang, sitting on In's bed, naked, looking like every ounce of strength has been drained from him, leaving him completely exhausted. Sitting in silence, Kang thinks to himself, what a scary woman, man. She kept me up all night. If you know what I mean? And remember that thing about the Bengolinho he was thinking about earlier? It didn't work because she's completely unfazed. Man, you're kidding. The girl is absolutely glowing with happiness and she's cheerfully waving as she leaves the house. Before saying goodbye, Yumi promises to find a buyer with Crystal and assures him she'll take care of everything that needs to be done. The scene then shifts, showing that a week has passed, and finally, Kang and Ying have found a potential buyer for the crystal. Walking together, they head toward the buyer, ready to close the deal. Ying asks Kang if he thinks it's a good idea to sell such a dangerous crystal, to the point that gangsters are involved. And she teases him even more. She jokes about why he insists on going along. On the other hand, our dear Kang is extremely uncomfortable. After all, that crystal is rare and dangerous. Kang is afraid they might attack. Yumi, his suspicion grows. As he approaches the meeting place, Kang arrives and notices an extremely muscular guy staring directly at him. Now Kang is convinced that this guy is the buyer, and he feels relieved to have come along with Yumi. Kang even imagines that the buyer planned to kill Yumi, but then Yumi approaches another table where an older man is sitting. He introduces himself as Hsoka. Oh boy. Meanwhile, the muscular guy Kang suspected runs off to feed a cat. That was enough to keep him calm, but he still remains extremely cautious. Hsoka shakes Kang's hand, and Kang immediately notices his iron grip. Kang realizes that if he had to fight, he wouldn't stand a chance against that old man. Despite Kang's doubts, Hsoka examines a small piece of the crystal, confirming its complete purity. He assures Yumi that the deal will go through and that the money will be transferred to her account soon. He bows politely and says goodbye to everyone. The moment Sok bows, a chill runs down Kang's spine. He senses a danger coming from Sok. Ruum, on the other hand, is left. Say, wondering why that guy was so polite earlier, Kang becomes even more suspicious. Still convinced that maybe that guy found out it was him who discovered the crystal. Kang decides to be extremely cautious after the deal, while I.M. can't resist and starts teasing Kang, joking that Kang was expecting an armed gang to show up. To steal the crystal, she gives him a pat on the back and tells him to grow up. A few moments later, Yumi's phone rings and she shows Kang the screen, displaying the transaction of $1 million. Have they ever seen that much money in their lives? But she answers herself, saying that even Kang has never seen that much money in his life. The scene then changes, and we see Kang and Osmo, also known as Hsoka. Sitting in his car, he places a bag full of mana crystals next to him. He talks to someone, confirming the success of the deal, and they start discussing how the crystal has recently begun spreading throughout the black market. And look, it's only being sold in pieces. But they suspect that all these broken pieces come from the same crystal, probably recovered in the rank S dungeon. And look, That guy. He even says that whoever got this crystal must be the same elite hunter. An old man starts saying that the hunter might be a foreigner since he's managed to stay hidden until now. But then, Roka says that his suspicion is that it's Hunter Kang, and he asks everyone to investigate both the research assistants from Human University and his partner. An old man agrees and says to leave that guy over there in the car, the one giving orders, to him. That's Captain Legitai, the best rank S hunter in the whole country. A few days have passed, and look, it's already time for Kang to return to hell. He's doing some exercises, pushing himself to his limit, doing push-ups over and over again. He manages to complete an incredible 150. Wow. Clearly his physique has become insanely dangerous and strong. After finishing his workout set, Kang collapses to the ground, gasping for air. The intense atmosphere of hell weighs down on him, and gravity is 10 times stronger than on Earth, making every movement a challenge. Lying on the ground, Kang starts to say that if he were on Earth, he would have easily done more than 1,000 push-ups. He thinks it's simply impossible in this world. Looking up at the sky, he decides to check his system, and the notification shows that there are 18 hours left to complete the mission and begin supporting his ancestors. He grips his pendant tightly, closes his eyes, and thinks that after going back and forth between Earth and Hell so many times, he finally figured out how it works. During Tao's an active mission, Kang triggers a quest that doesn't let him return to Earth. But the moment the mission ends, he gains the ability to travel freely between the two worlds. However, there's a big problem. He always teleports to completely random locations. And this time, whether Kang travels from Hell to Earth or from Earth to Hell, he ends up in a completely different place. This constant change of location leaves Kang extremely irritated and frustrated. Looking up at the sky, he shouts loudly, "Why the hell? Does this place change every single time?" Amid that desolate landscape, sitting on the ground, Kang looks extremely troubled, trying to figure out how to solve this huge location problem. And he decides to distract himself by testing his other abilities. Kang activates his battle assistant and takes off his shirt, revealing his completely ripped, chiseled physique. As he carefully wraps his hands, he thinks to himself, even though the battle assistant feels like a cheater, illegal, or a hacker, an extremely powerful skill, so powerful it's almost unreal. Standing in front of a punching bag, he focuses intensely. Will that battle assistant activate the moment he hits the bag? He focuses again and throws an extremely powerful punch. Powerful! And at that very moment, his fist connects with the battle assistant, and his body starts to move on its own, as if it were acting independently. Look at that, the nanomachine. His punches become extremely heavy and more precise, each one landing exactly in the same spot with devastating force. He realizes that wherever he focuses his attention on the punching bag, his body automatically delivers extremely powerful and calculated blows precisely at that point. It's as if his mind and body are perfectly synchronized, his punch powered by an invisible force. In a matter of seconds, Kang lands a devastating punch on the punching bag, causing it to split in two and break apart completely. Kang looks at the results of his attack and realizes that this ability resembles an aimbot skill, a genuine cheating ability. He smiles, feeling tremendous confidence in his strength. That ability is extremely amazing, extraordinary. At that moment, the system notifies Kang that a new mission has started, and the mission's name flashes on the screen. He isn't at all excited by what he reads. The mission details instruct him to defeat 5 beginner Scarecrows. Kang stares at that system window and shouts in tremendous anger. And he starts complaining that he's now at level 7, and yet the system gave him a beginner-level mission. Damn, has this system gone crazy? But after challenging the system and realizing there's no way around it, he decides to fight the Scarecrows. However, there's a problem. Kang hasn't seen any Scarecrows in this area. He is confused, wondering where they could be. And suddenly, a thin mist appears before his eyes, swirling as if guiding him in a certain direction. Kang starts to follow the mist, as it leads him to an underground tunnel. The smoke gestures for Kang to enter, and he hesitates briefly. He feels extremely uneasy, but it doesn't take long before he steps into the tunnel. The moment he enters, his breath catches, pausing, stuck in his throat. Standing before him are 5 terrifying Scarecrows, resembling lifeless training dummies, sending chills down Kang's spine. There is also a number engraved on their heads, but no level is displayed there. Those Scarecrows look powerful and dangerous. He speaks to his system, asking if it could make those Scarecrows look cooler. He then imagines those monsters suddenly coming to life. Geez, Kree, that's weird. Are you crazy? He doesn't know what those things are, but he thinks it won't hurt. So he throws one of the darts at that dummy and hides behind that piece of wood. But nothing happens. He thinks they really are just scarecrows, and maybe this will be way too easy. He then punches one of them right in the face, but nothing changes. He's sure of it, that he hit it with full force, with all his power. The Scarecrow twisted all over and started shaking in a frighteningly unnatural way. Kang's heart skipped a beat when all 5 Scarecrows began to move at the same time. Their eyes glowed red, evil, and a sinister voice from all of them declared that they had recognized their opponent. The Scarecrows started saying that they are also at level 7, and the system informs Kang that the battle has begun at a beginner level. Kang looks at the notification, realizing that the Scarecrows matched his level. He told himself that nothing in hell could ever be normal. Before Kang could react to the Scarecrow's attack with full force, all 5 of them attacked him. Their movements are coordinated. Kang thinks to himself that even though a level 7 awakening in the real world would earn him respect, prestige, fame, and money, treating him like a bodyguard, here, level 7 in hell is just the beginning. That thought completely sinks into Kang. He starts cursing those Scarecrows from top to bottom, filled with the tremendous anger that rises within him. He then starts to activate his battle skill, the Helper. He clenches his fist with determination and moves forward to face the Scarecrow head-on. But it wasn't as easy as he had expected. Even after activating the Battle Helper, Kang struggled to land strong blows on the Scarecrows. But it seemed like the Scarecrows were locked in place, engaged in a battle. The Helper unleashed several sharp attacks, and the dummies responded in equal measure. The fight was extremely intense, and his efforts seemed weak. The Scarecrows weren't taking any damage. Suddenly, one of the dummies grabs Kang by the neck with tremendous strength and flexibility. But our boy refuses to back down. He punched the dummy square in the face with all his strength, and finally, he saw results. Half of the Scarecrow's face cracked under the force of his punch, and for a moment, he thought his attack had worked. But before he could celebrate his moves, the dummy's movements became unshakable and unnatural. Its right eye glowed brighter, redder, more sinister, and even deadlier. A voice echoed from it eerily, saying that the opponent's data had been updated and now it had switched to level 2. As soon as level 2 began, the dummy's behavior became even more bizarre. 4 of them ran after Kang, grabbing his arms and legs and completely immobilizing him. The 5th stranger stepped forward and struck. A punch landed right in the center of Kang's strength. The attacks didn't stop there. The Scarecrow kept punching Kang's mouth and teeth, his stomach, his body, relentlessly. For 30 minutes, the Scarecrow kept hitting, pummeling Kang, without any mercy in its blows. Kang endured all those brutal blows. Every hit he felt brought him closer to collapsing. The system notified Kang that, due to the beatings, his resistance and pain had increased drastically. But Kang's body was a wreck, completely battered, blood streaming from every pore of his skin, and all his bones seemed to have turned to dust. The cold system warned that his health had dropped below 10%, triggering a full restoration. Then, as his body began to heal, Kang felt excruciating pain. Every broken bone hurt even more before coming back together, piece by piece like a damn jigsaw puzzle. The sensation was horrible, as if his body was being torn into 1,000 pieces and stitched back together at the same time. Kang stood there, stiff as a corpse. The pain made him dizzy, disoriented. For a couple of seconds, all he wanted was to run away, to get out of there. He thought angrily that he had trained himself to death, but he couldn't even scratch those damned dummies. But Kang didn't give up. Slowly, he got up, stiff as a limping zombie. He gritted his teeth so hard and started saying that those dummies must be using some kind of demonic martial art. And if that's the case, he's gonna have to grab a weapon to put them in their place. Opening his inventory, Kang pulls out a legendary stick. And now, it's time for the philosophical beating. The moment he holds it, the golden glow of the weapon lights up the place, looking all stylish. Kang grips the piece of wood, now strong and gleaming, taking a battle stance with the look of someone who means business. He swears he's going to break. From the nightmare of those wretched puppets, the system warns that this is no ordinary piece of wood. He's not a fierce poet. He's powered up with the strength of the devil. His attacks knock out even your thoughts. Kang charges forward with the legendary weapon, shining, and strikes Scarecrow number 1. With everything he's got, there's a tremendous bang. You can feel the force of the blow. He breaks open the Scarecrow's arm, and for the first time, Kang gets a whiff of victory. This guy is overjoyed, thinking he's about to finish off those Scarecrows. Piece of cake. But his joy lasts even less than a fart. A Scarecrow with a broken arm looks at the damage and starts moving again, in that weird and creepy way. Its battle tactics get another upgrade, and to Kang's surprise, the Scarecrow's hand grows back, almost in the blink of an eye. And it doesn't stop there. All the remaining Scarecrows start moving at the same time, like a bunch of lunatics. Each one sticks its hand into its own structure, and pulls a weapon out of its helmet. Their appearance gets even more terrifying. Kang, gripping his weapon tightly, feels that this fight is not for amateurs, and that the real trouble is just beginning. One Scarecrow pulls out a sword, another raises a hammer, the third grabs an axe, and the fourth, a sledgehammer that looks like a tractor. With these sinister weapons, they tear apart Kang's body more and more, like a steak being tenderized. The system, once again cold and calculating, announces that Kang has survived for 5 days, 8 hours, and 4 minutes. The scene then changes, showing Kang almost collapsing, stiff, struggling against the Scarecrows. With his last bit of strength, poor guy, he desperately manages to tie. So, they stick 2 Scarecrows on a pillar to try and chill things out. That way, he'll have to face fewer enemies. Even with the exhausting fight, Kang is reaching his limit. And in this wild battle, his level starts shooting up like a rocket. Finally, Kang activates his battle assistant and lands a wild blow right to the chest of one of the dummies. The impact smashes the robot's body, revealing a glowing mana crystal at its core. Kang stares at the crystal, thinking, if I smash this thing, does that mean I take out the robot? He then gets ready for the final attack. But before he can blow up the robot's core, the robot heals itself, and that devilish voice announces, "Sparring! Level 3 has begun." Oh boy, things are about to get even crazier. The robot dummy's body bulks up, its moves get faster and way more precise. It basically turns into a ninja assassin. And Kang, seeing this transformation, just grins like he's completely out of his mind, poor guy. And he starts saying that the stronger the robot gets, the stronger he's gonna get too. Yep, that's right. That wild rush of fun totally takes over him, and he's loving every second of that chaos. But folks, his joy doesn't last long. The robot leaps onto Kang and with one quick and brutal move, smashes his head, just obliterates it. Kang died instantly, but his suffering is far from over. The madness is just getting started. The robots kill him in all sorts of horrible ways. One moment, one snaps his spine like a twig. The next, his whole body gets crushed until he's basically ground beef again, and his head turns into mush. A cycle of death repeats itself until Kang dies so many times that the pain starts to fade, leaving him numb like a vegetable. Kang's frustration shoots through the roof. Staring at those hellish Scarecrows, he yells out in outrage, "How many martial arts do you guys know, you bastards?" The Scarecrows left a weird mark on Kang, and he starts to feel like he could use those martial arts himself. Now, those dummies strike battle poses, ready to attack, but Kang, almost on instinct, copies their moves. It's like the techniques have been burned into his body, just like a microchip. Using his new skill, Kang starts busting out martial arts moves against them to see who's the real badass here. The fight turns into an all-out brawl, with the Scarecrows switching up their tactics and rebooting the sparring session. Kang feels a little thrill at testing out his skills, but his excitement fizzles out again, just like a flash in the pan. Straw. One of the robots charges in and rips out Kang's eyes, crushing those eyeballs with the precision of a surgeon. And Kang screams in agony, clutching his face, while blood gushes out like a busted shower head. Before he can even catch his breath, the robot opens its mouth wide like a wolf's maw and chomps down on Kang's feet, just like a rabid dog. The pain is absolutely insane, and Kang screams so loud his voice echoes across the whole battlefield. He can't even believe this is happening. He starts cursing, calling the robot a damn mutt, but the robot couldn't care less. It just keeps gnawing on Kang's feet, those razor-sharp teeth tearing through flesh and bone without a shred of mercy. Slowly, the robot starts devouring Kang's whole body like he's some kind of all-you-can-eat buffet. Kang's screams just get louder and louder as pure terror takes over everything. And in the end, the robot finishes its gruesome feast. Kang dies. Again. And as soon as he wakes up, he realizes he's already died 90 times. With all this craziness, by now Kang has actually mastered almost every martial art those cursed dummies have, using their own techniques against them. Now Kang can fight them toe-to-toe and even come out on top, totally humiliating all the robots. Kang finally gets it, if he doesn't beat these Scarecrows, he's going to be stuck in this endless loop forever. Or better yet, endless deaths. He clenches his fist, pulls it back, and throws a punch forward with insane power. And from Kang's fist, a blast of energy erupts, surging forward and wiping out all the dummies in one go. Just like a nuclear bomb. The guy just stands there, frozen, staring at the aftermath with his jaw on the floor. He's totally clueless. He just can't wrap his head around how he pulled off something so wild and insane, and then his little system pops up to tell him he's completed the beginner-level mission. Whoa! If that's beginner, what the heck is intermediate or advanced gonna be like? You've gotta be kidding me. Relieved, Kang lets out a massive yell, his voice echoing across the battlefield, which now looks like a graveyard. The exhaustion from almost dying finally catches up to him. He collapses to the ground, gasping for air like a fish out of water. He starts staring at his hands, which are still shaking like crazy. And just like us, he wonders how on earth this mission could possibly be considered beginner level. Makes you wonder, what are his future missions gonna be like, huh? Even so, Kang thinks maybe the real point of the mission was to give him a crash course in martial arts. But deep down, he knows it felt like those scarecrows did way more than that. They basically beat him up and forcefully downloaded our martial arts skills straight into his body. Even with all the pain, Kang cracks a smile, happy to know he picked up some new techniques. He decides it's time to check out all his new skills. Rewards! So, he pops open his system window. The system lets him know that, thanks to an SSS ranking, his reward just got a major upgrade. He got the radiance of the celestial cloak, a legendary yellow cloth shining like a sunbeam. He stares at the cloth, totally confused, with no clue what it's supposed to be. The system chimes in, explaining that this is a piece of legendary gear that can speed up Kang's growth and magically restore any part of his body that gets damaged. Like, seriously, it's magic, folks. Totally overpowered. He grabs the cloth. He handles it super carefully and starts checking everything out. He wonders about its damage reduction abilities. Does it even work if he dies? He keeps thinking and starts pondering the cloth's growth-boosting powers. Then, he gets an idea. What if he ties this cloth around his head, would his kill stat go up? That'd be pretty wild, right? Just imagine if he tied it down below. Would things get, bigger and thicker? Are you out of your mind? After a few awkward moments with nothing happening, Kanga feels a wave of shyness wash over him. It totally takes over. Embarrassed, he sighs and spins the cloth off his head, muttering that ever since he went to hell, he's been doing the most ridiculous stuff, there's just no excuse. Now, fully convinced that this cloth is useless, Kang decides he'll just sell it when he gets back to the real world. Who knows? Maybe he can make some cash since it's a legendary item, it's probably worth a fortune. But when Kang opens up his inventory to stash the cloth, he remembers the legendary mosquito egg. And then, Bommy gets a brilliant idea. He wraps the legendary cloth around the egg, thinking that if the cloth boosts growth, maybe the egg will hatch. After waiting a bit with nothing happening, Kang starts thinking this plan isn't going to work, it's about to go south. But just as he's about to take the cloth off, suddenly everything starts shining like crazy. The light gets more and more intense, and the cloth starts to disappear, glowing. Kang stares in shock. He watches as a bunch of cracks start forming on the surface of the egg. And Kang's face starts to tingle with goosebumps all over. Kang's fear just keeps ramping up. Dude, what the heck is this thing? What the hell is about to come out? Up there? An intrusive thought flashes through his mind. What if some freaky monster pops out, ready to snatch him up? I mean, this is hell, right? Whatever hatches from that thing can't be so strong that he doesn't even stand a chance to kill it, right? The egg cracks open, blasting out a hellish light. The glow is so blinding that Kang instantly squeezes his eyes shut. When the light finally fades, Kang peeks and sees something he never could have imagined, not even in his worst nightmares. Inside the egg, there's this bizarre scene that honestly looks like it was ripped straight out of a Barbie dollhouse. It's all soft, cozy, and ridiculously delicate in there. And right in the middle of all that, there's a gorgeous little girl sleeping like an absolute angel. Kang just freezes, totally glitched out. All those expectations of a demonic monster, yeah, they just went straight out the window. The girl stirs, her eyes slowly fluttering open. Her gaze is this wild mix of pure innocence and total menace. At the exact same time, it's like, a demon in disguise if you catch my drift. She blinks a few times. With these slow, adorable little moves, she finally gets up super carefully, steps out of the egg, and stands on the floor, while Kang's eyes are still bugging out at how tiny she is. Is that supposed to be the mini fairy? The one born straight out of hell, dude? Yeah, I don't think so, buddy. He reaches out a finger to gently poke her cheek, trying to tickle her, looking all goofy and smitten. But the fairy reaches out her hands toward Kang and bites his finger, just to show him she's got razor-sharp teeth. Are you out of your mind? And then she starts sucking all the blood out of his body. Pain shoots through Kang's hand and he screams, flailing his arm around like crazy, trying to shake the fairy off. With all that wild swinging, he ends up smacking her into the ceiling before she crashes down to the floor. Like a sack of potatoes, Kang grabs his hand, yelling, totally frustrated, "What kind of messed-up reward is this? Are you nuts? Is this thing a cannibal monster or what? Is that system messing with me? Is it doing this on purpose?" The poor fairy just sits there, looking all sad with tears in her eyes, and she says in the sweetest voice ever that she's just really, really hungry. Kang turns to look at her, and now she looks like an adorable, helpless kitten. Kang sighs, torn between being frustrated and feeling sorry for her. Then he grabs a piece of candy and offers it to her. But the fairy doesn't want that kind of sweet. Kang, totally weirded out, asks what she wants to eat, and she just points at him with a big smile, making it crystal clear she wants to eat Kang. Now it finally clicks for him. This girl is totally a cannibal monster, no doubt about it. So he decides to avoid any more drama. And not really thrilled about it, he lets that fairy suck his blood. A fairy mixed with a mosquito, basically. Honestly, what even is that, bro? Kang makes a pained face, begging her to stop. But the fairy, all cheerful, tells him to chill out. She says she'll stop once a few minutes are up. Kang finally feels relieved when the fairy stops eating. But, to his annoyance, she starts licking the wound on his hand, which just makes him even more uncomfortable. Watching that whole scene, he realizes something. That egg was made from a mix of mosquito, which means this creature is a mosquito fairy. Just like I already told you guys, the fairy floats in front of him, looking all satisfied and even a bit smug, and starts bragging that her belly is super full now, huh? And then she calls Kang her slave. Whoa! Now that really ticks the guy off. He grabs the fairy, squeezes her tight, and demands she say again who's supposed to be her slave. But the fairy, all sassy, thanks Kang sweetly, calling him her servant. Let's be real, is just a fancier way of saying slave in this house, no doubt about it. So Kang squeezes her a little harder. Now, she switches up the title again and calls him her butler, which just annoys him even more, especially with Kang still squeezing her. She calls him Mr. Kang, still super begrudgingly, and then he says his name is Kang and asks, "So, what's your name?" She starts to answer, but suddenly her system just crashes. She can't remember her own name or anything about her life. Totally blank. The fairy tries to recall who she is, but nothing comes out. Kang feels frustrated, but also kind of relieved, and he says he's just going to call her Mosquito Fairy since, well, she literally came from a mosquito. She gets absolutely furious, like, seriously, look at the name he picked. Suddenly, her memory comes rushing back in a flash. She remembers she once promised that, when the world ended, she'd devour every living thing on Earth. After dropping that bombshell, the fairy flashes a smile super cute, but also absolutely terrifying at the same time. Is the kind of smile that would give even a corpse in a coffin the chills. Kang is stunned and wonders to himself if she's actually a dangerous monster, and he thinks he really needs to kill her right now. After that, Kang asks Mosquito Fairy if what she just said is actually true. The fairy, with her rosy little lips, looks at him all proud, like someone who just invented something amazing, and she tells him that, yep, she really did promise to devour every living thing. When the world turned to dust, his fear just kept growing, and he realized how dangerous this situation really was. Kang remembers how, just moments ago, a single drop of his blood caused total chaos when it landed on the Goblin. But the Mosquito Fairy drank all the blood, and it didn't affect her at all. That can only mean one thing. She's not lying, and she's seriously dangerous. You guys know her blood is poisonous, right? Kang gets a little closer and takes a look, and he notices that her cute, innocent little self still gives him a glimmer of hope. To him, if she's that adorable, maybe just maybe he can tame her. Something about her softens Kang up, and he decides to give it a shot. Maybe he can actually tame her and keep her as a pet. Sitting on the ground, he talks to the Mosquito Fairy, reminding her of that creepy promise to eat every living thing. But before anything else, he suggests giving her a name since she doesn't have one yet. And from that day on, her name will be Rainer. She looks totally enchanted and repeats the name softly, saying it's a really pretty name. Kang feels a deep connection sparking between them, something real and totally unexpected. And right then, he tells her she has to promise him two things. First, she can't eat or drink the blood of any human from now on. When she hears that, Heine agrees with a mischievous grin, saying she's going to eat everything in the world, but she won't eat Kang, because his blood is just too delicious, and if Heine wants to drink his blood, she has to follow two rules. She can never again eat or drink the blood of any other human. If she agrees, he'll give her his blood every single day, and just thinking about his blood already has her drooling. And without even thinking about the conditions, she agrees. And Kang, seeing how wildly eager she is, gets super happy and surprised. Apparently, taming this dangerous demon was way easier than he thought. Heine glances at the busted-up robots lying around and asks, "What's that all about?" Kang, all proud of himself, starts face LOGR, telling her how hard he worked to take them down. And suddenly, Kang gets a brilliant idea. He notices that those robots have their top halves completely wrecked, like they'd been sliced right down the middle. Kang looks at them and realizes that must have been the result of that energy blast he unleashed. Without really meaning to, but kinda wanting answers, he opens up the system screen and discovers a brand new skill, Violent Energy. He checks out that notification, realizing just how powerful that skill could be, and decides to give it a whirl. Kang grins and gets ready to unleash the power again. Kang remembers that the energy kicked in last time when he used his martial arts to punch the Scarecrow. So, he decides to do it again. He activates the battle assistant, clenches his fists, and focuses, thinking about the skill's name, Violent Energy. Kang throws a punch straight ahead, putting all his strength into it, going totally wild. A burst of energy explodes from Kang's fist, tearing through the Scarecrow and blasting it into a million little pieces. If it were me, I'd have just taken it apart and put it back together. Just imagine if I could mass produce it. He looks at the results with a mischievous grin, feeling all that power surging through him. But she's not about to be left behind, so she unleashes a double blast of power, blowing up another Scarecrow. Kang is totally floored, in shock, like his soul just left his body. Heine's attack is almost twice as strong as his, which leaves him stunned and maybe even a little intimidated. Right then, all the dummies that Kang and Heine had destroyed suddenly got back up. Lifeless bodies and those voices saying they've identified the full opponent, yeah, that's bad news. Kang, running on pure instinct, gets ready for another intense fight. The dummies start closing in on Kang, moving slow and creepy like a pack of zombies. They start saying they've detected a superhuman and begin herding him toward a creepy room that just appeared nearby. He noticed the Scarecrows weren't actually attacking. Actually, they were showing off a wrecked room that seemed to have popped up out of nowhere, like magic. Zhang carefully approaches the room and starts rummaging through the debris, looking for something important or special hidden in there. He finds it Queen, who's nearby, wrinkles her nose and says she's picking up an extremely weird smell. But, believe it or not, it's actually kind of nice. Kang follows her gaze and spots some remains a super dried up skeleton, with only the skull still in one piece. Rainer gets really close, all curious, and says the smell is actually delicious, and it seems to be coming from the bones. Rainer grabs a bone and just starts munching on it. Has totally shocked and absolutely furious. He grabs Rainer, squeezing her tight, and demands to know what she thinks she's doing, eating someone's remains. But she couldn't care less. That person was already dead anyway. No reason to worry about it. And then she turns her attention to a letter that was in the skeleton's hand. He opens the letter super carefully and starts to read. It reads like the diary of someone who made some seriously messed up choices in life. It said that the level of that dungeon had turned into a total nightmare, or that it brought some hellish trouble. The kids who were born in that toxic environment bit the dust, and everyone ended up as fertilizer. All those ability users either killed each other or died in the most horrible ways. The letter wrapped up with the conclusion, create the blood. After all, humanity was slowly dying out. The guy who wrote that letter had absolutely no clue what to do. Our dude is staring at the letter, his mind racing a mile a minute, and then bam, a wild, crazy thought hits him. Could this place actually be showing the future of the real world? He wonders if, in that future, all the ability users might end up dying along with the monsters, which just keep getting stronger, leaving humanity totally stranded. He snaps his attention back to the pendant, which is lying among the skeleton's remains. So, he starts checking out the pendant, which Rainer is holding. He wonders if the pendant belonged to the letter's author, and if it's hiding some secret from the dog. He shows the pendant to Rainer, hoping to finally get some answers. And the moment Kang touches the pendant, a blinding light bursts out, sending shockwaves of intense pain all through his body. The glow just keeps getting stronger, and then bam, the pendant suddenly shatters in his hand. A weird symbol appears, and burns itself right into Kang's palm. He starts shaking like crazy. Kang stares at the mark, totally confused and lost, with no clue what just happened. Before he can even wrap his head around all this, the system chimes in to say that the stars are watching him. And out of nowhere, a dark portal starts to open up right in front of him, looking like some distant galaxy sparkling on the other side. The pull from the portal keeps getting stronger and stronger, slowly shrinking his body. Rainer, hanging out nearby, watches the whole thing with a mischievous grin, wishing him good luck. And then she pieces out. Kang, totally freaking out, reaches out his hand, begging Rainer to come back. But before he can do anything, the portal swallows him whole, yanking him inside. When Kang opens his eyes, he finds himself floating in a galaxy, surrounded by stars and planets. To his surprise, he can actually breathe, even though the place is totally surreal and kind of creepy. Looking around, Kang starts wondering where the heck he is, what planet this could possibly be. He just floats there, lost in a universe with endless stars and galaxies all around him. Confused and frustrated, his head spinning, he yells out Rainer's name. But nothing happens, just emptiness. He shouts again and again, still desperate to know who brought him to this place. And then, out of nowhere, the system cuts into his thoughts. It announces that the Barbie star is on its way and has recognized his star fragment. A bright blue star pops up right in front of him. The star gives off this chilly, judgmental vibe, just staring at Kang without saying a word. After a while, the star looks disappointed. And then it starts saying something about Kang's potential and personality before vanishing as quickly as it appeared. Kang feels insulted and gets absolutely furious and mad. What's wrong with his personality anyway? He gets more and more frustrated and starts yelling at the system. The system fires back with a bunch of warnings, explaining in this deep, bossy voice that those stars are celestial beings who rule over their own territories scattered across the universe. Because of those stars, they keep an eye on the planets, always on the lookout for disciples to grant their powers to. And when a disciple accepts, they take over the disciple's planet, boosting their own influence and power. Kang, hearing all of this, just gets even more confused. Why are these stars bothering him? Him, specifically? So he mutters under his breath, clenching his fists and staring at the mark on his hand. And that's when he realizes that Mark must be the reason for all this chaos. Before he can finish his thoughts, 4 stars of different colors swoop down from the sky and start spinning around him. These dazzling shapes give off a light that's almost hypnotic. As they watch Kang, the stars seem totally captivated by LA's charm, by Kang's determination, and let's be honest, by his ripped body. Each one wants him as their disciple. Suddenly, a system chimes in, announcing that all the celestial beings want to invest in Kang. And Kang, totally annoyed, starts face to ask what the heck is going on. He growls, pointing his finger accusingly at the stars. Suddenly, the celestial beings move in closer, overwhelming him with their presence. They start face a presenter one by one in Kang's mind. The purple star steps, or rather, floats forward and introduces itself as a star in ruins. She morphs into the shape of a demon, with long, razor-sharp fingers, and describes herself as a master of the masses, an expert in daggers, poison, and conspiracy. Did her power thrive in secrecy, hidden away in the shadows of secret organizations? Next up is the Green Star, introducing itself as the Wandering Star. Varen, the father of sorrow and wickedness. He commands an army of the dead and takes delight in the despair of false hope and pointless struggles. Then the Blue-Purple Star and Goal announce themselves as the Serpent of Greed and Desire. Her realm is plagued by hunger, suffering, and her own wild ambition. Her goal? To devour everything in the universe. The Golden Star shines brightly. Taking a step forward, she introduces herself as the ruling monarcha, being so powerful she can make others kneel before her radiant might. With her dazzling light, she blinds even the brightest stars, and her authority is absolute. Finally, the Orange Starface, presenting as Eris. He calls himself a warrior who charges forward like fire and lays waste to everything in his path. He faces his enemies with the pure strength and determination of steel. Meanwhile, Kang Yuva watches these introductions with a face that screams, "I don't buy any of this!" Totally sarcastic, he asks why everyone seems to have had a personality makeover. The celestial beings, hearing his comment, actually agree with his enthusiasm, and surprise, surprise, they like him. And that's exactly why they want to invest in him. He gets even more annoyed, now almost at his breaking point, and yells, asking if he has a personality disorder, because seriously, everyone there has a different personality and yet they all like him. The celestial beings shamelessly confirm it, which just makes Kang even more furious. He throws himself on the ground like a sack of potatoes and asks what he'd actually get if one of them picked him right now. The blue star pops back up, showing him a vision of his future Kang, loaded with power and racking up some seriously disturbing achievements. Kang looks at that vision, then back at the stars, and starts face to really think it over, because hey, nothing in this world comes for free. If he takes that power from them, there's gotta be some catch behind it. He asks those beings why they came after him in the first place. After all, he didn't go chasing after anyone. That means he's got the right to turn down their offers whenever he feels like it. Until then, I'm not making any decisions. If I want something from you guys, I'll be the one to call you. With that, Kang turns around and waves goodbye to the stars, totally mocking them. The celestial beings just stand there in silence. This has never happened in all the stories across the universes. Then, a portal opens up, yanking Kang back to reality. He takes a huge sigh of relief, thinking he's finally back in hell. Seriously, who in their right mind feels relieved to be back in hell, dude? But before the portal closes, the golden star pops up and just shows up in Kang's hell, totally unannounced. She slashes Kira's hand. Kang, and it hurts like hell. Kang clutches his hand in absolute agony, while the system announces that the celestial beings have unlocked his potential, granting him the legendary mastery ability. Kang stares at his trembling hand, his voice rising with frustration. What the heck is this? What kind of power is this? How the heck is he supposed to use this? He looks at the star symbol, now burned into his hand, and starts questioning everything. Could this celestial being be the same one that created hell? Yeah, my dear subscribers, looks like he's going to have to dig deeper into these mysterious stars. What are they? What did they create? And just how powerful are they? But before all that, he's got to hit the like button on this video. Whoa, what an awesome story. Seriously, mind blown. You're crazy, dude. Man, I really like the mosquitoes. Dude, Keto is unleashing powers that are just beyond comprehension. But he could have easily accepted all the powers of the celestial beings, right? Right? I would have said yes on the spot. Makes you wonder why, huh? All that suspicion. Let's wait and see what happens in the next episodes. That's it from me, thanks, and stick around for the next video. So, the scene cuts and shows Kang back on Earth. But dude, it's already been 3 days since he left Hell. Kang thought he was just gonna chill, training like crazy in Hell. But when he comes back, bam, a whole bunch of drama waiting for him to sort out in the real world. And to kick things off, man, he didn't even know where he'd end up when he came back. And when he finally did, he looked like a total hobo. Seriously, everyone freaks out just seeing him. So, Kang shows up at Yumi's house, all scruffy, and just straight up says, bold as brass, that he wants to buy a house. Yumi is totally shocked and asks where on earth he got that idea out of nowhere. But Kang tells her to chill out and says he's loaded with cash and just needs a place to call his own. And he's dead serious, saying he can't stand renting anymore. He's basically turning into Elman, except his friend starts roasting him. After all that money he's got, yeah, it came from some shady stuff. She starts getting into it and warns him that if he buys a mansion, it's gonna blow up in his face. But he just says he's gonna buy a nice, decent house, nothing too crazy. After all, he's gotta make all that cash legit, and for that, he needs to become a hunter, just like Ela. Kang heads to the kitchen to whip up some instant noodles and starts mulling over Yumi's words. He realizes she's totally right if he suddenly shows up with a mansion out of nowhere. Everyone's gonna get suspicious right away. Then he remembers the stars that predicted a bright future for him, and he flashes that mischievous grin like he's up to something. He decides he won't need those powers anymore. He swears he's going to achieve everything he wants with his own strength, bro. Even if his sidekick is a future from the real world, he's gonna get so strong that he won't let that future ever reach Earth. And just to keep things rolling, he lifts the egg up like it's some kind of epic hero trophy. Then the guy sees all that Kang energy, gets a little embarrassed, super shy, and tells him to cut out the theatrics and just eat already. Right then and there. The two of them sit down to eat with the TV on, showing an S-rank hunter from Korea talking about how weird dungeons are. He even adds that monsters are coming out of dungeons at a level way above normal. And it's a real pain to take down these beasts with regular hunters. Kang is glued to the TV, eating like a total ogre, not even noticing food falling everywhere. Ayumi can't take it anymore and snaps at him, "Eat properly, damn it, or I'll eat you instead." Huh? Wait, what did you just say? Kang finally pays attention to his food, but his mind is racing a mile a minute. Has the apocalypse zombie already started or what? The scene cuts again, and now we see Kang at the training center. To get his hunter's license, the place is packed like an anthill. Seriously. He dives into the chaos, gets his ID photo taken, and it comes out looking like a mugshot, no joke. The receptionist nearly has a heart attack. Girl, are you for real? Next up, there's a blood test. And then Kang heads over to the power measuring machine. The guy yells out that one candidate's level is 87. And to become a hunter, you need at least 100. Then it's Kang's turn, and he puts his hand on the machine. The instructor explains that he has to grab the ball inside the machine and pour all his power into it. As soon as Kang grabs the ball, everything blows up. Everyone there is totally stunned. Kang's power level on the machine is just a string of zeros. One of the instructors nearly keels over. Kang is totally confused. Did he break the machine or something? Maybe he's gonna have to pay for it now, right? But hey, money's not a problem for this guy. Money's nice, isn't it? The instructors are standing there with their jaws on the floor, saying he's not even the top dog among the rank-ass hunters. And he still broke that machine. Kang asks what happens now. He's all awkward about it. The instructor starts saying the machine must be busted. So they're gonna swap out the crystal and try the test again. But then bam, the machine breaks again, and this time, Kang's level is left pending for review. And to make things worse, the skill test is also put on hold. Now Kang's getting seriously ticked off. He has no idea what to do. Then, we get a flashback of Kang, thinking about which skill to show off. So he decides to show off his poisonous blood. He cuts his finger and lets the green blood drip onto a plant, which instantly withers. Everyone is totally freaked out by the poison. The instructor even faints from the smell. Later on, a receptionist is going through Kang's paperwork. She's got a face like she's not in the mood for anyone's nonsense. She says everyone wants to be a hunter these days. Seriously nowadays, just look at that. And she points out that hunters make a ton of money. But hey, you can also die super easily. Kang answers back, all serious. He says he doesn't care about money or fame. He just wants to protect everyone. And then he drops the line, with great power comes great responsibility. All inspired and stuff. Like full-on Spider-Man vibes, poor guy. Thinking he's related to Batman or something. That's gotta be it. With the documents in hand, Kang heads off to the next test. Then the scene switches again and shows two guys opening the door of a black Rolls Royce. And out steps this insanely badass guy from the rank hunters. Everyone starts crowding around, trying to see who this guy is. He asks the security guard about the preparations, and the guard says everything's good to go, and that everyone from the Butterfly Network is also taking the test this year. Inside, an instructor tells Mr. Badass that there's a weird candidate, that the machine can't measure his mana level, and that he's got poisonous blood. The big guy just brushes it off, saying, "Look, poisonous blood is useless in a team." But then he remembers he sent the butler to check up on Kang and figures the guy must be hiding something. The candidates, Kang included, all gather in a massive room. An instructor hands each of them a purple crystal, without bothering to explain anything. Kang asks what the deal is with the crystals, but the instructor just vanishes. Out of nowhere, a door swings open, and Kang finds himself in some kind of desert wasteland. Mr. Badass is watching everything through the cameras in his room. The deserted city is actually a replica of a 2-star dungeon. Kang, clutching his purple crystal, hears an announcement explaining that there are over 100 candidates in the test, and each one has a crystal. And in 3 hours, whoever has the most crystals will pass the test. Now, Kang's feeling super confident like the king of the universe and says he's totally pumped to use his powers in real life. Then, everyone realizes they've got a crystal too, and that when you defeat monsters, you get more random crystals anywhere from 1 to 3. In one group, there's this guy with glasses who totally looks like the nerdy type, and he's plotting with 3 others about how to ace the test. The glasses guy spots Kang and invites him to join their group. Kang, all annoyed, mocks them and says he doesn't want to team up with a bunch of losers. This guy's really feeling himself, huh? The glasses guy is totally stunned and tries to win Kang over, saying his team's got muscle, shields, and even a healer. Kang just shrugs and says he's not into group fight shed, rather go solo. He just takes off, and it's boom, he starts to walk away. The big guy gets furious, grabs him by the collar, and demands he hand over the crystal before someone else snatches it. But instead of freaking out, Kang just smacks the big guy right on the blessing, and the dude drops to the floor like a sack of potatoes. Kang flashes a wicked grin and says, if they don't want to end up like the big guy, they'd better just hand over the crystals. The guy with the glasses hands over the crystal on the spot. Kang is absolutely stunned. The glasses guy explains that the big guy was the strongest on their team, and now they don't stand a chance. After scooping up the crystals, Kang vanishes in a flash. Meanwhile, the badass and the businessman are watching everything from the surveillance room. The badass says that Red Butterfly just swiped the crystals from a team and is now leading the rankings. He also says that Red Butterfly is so strong they clear 2-star dungeons solo and even help out in 3-star dungeons. That businessman adds that a 3-star dungeon is Blevel, which is no small feat, and at the same time, Red Butterfly is duking it out with a buff robot. That looks just like the one Kang faced in Hell. That businessman asks about the robot, and Mr. Big Shot explains that it's a prototype from BBB Industries. Oh my gosh, built to be as strong as a 2-star monster. The robot is super tough and can take a bunch of hits from hunters. The cool guys say it would take about 10 or 15 hunters to fight against that machine. While they're watching, Mr. Big Shot notices that Kang is standing right in front of the robot. He laughs and says, this is really going to be insanely interesting. Kang, all fired up, punches the robot with crazy strength and brutality. He pushes it back without letting up. Kang activates his battle assistant, grabs the robot's leg, and hurls it far away. The scene shifts and shows Kang standing in the middle of a pile of busted robots, yelling his head off. And he's taken down more than 20 robots. Are you kidding me? Holding one of the broken robots, Kang says these bots are even weaker than the ones he fought in Hell. and he calls them dumb toys. Using his dismantling skill, Kang pulls the crystal out of the robot, and he remembers that back in hell, he couldn't even use this skill. Then, an announcement pops up saying that 34 minutes have passed and more than half the hunters have already failed. The rankings show up in third place. Muscle Mom, who's got some seriously scary muscles, is in second place. Red Butterfly is there with 9 crystals, and in first place, Kang, with an unbelievable 16 crystals. Kang grins, absolutely thrilled to see his name at the top for the very first time, and then he starts goofing around with that robot head, saying he always knew he'd be number 1. Because honestly, the robot looks like a cheap knockoff of the Scarecrow he fought back in hell. Seriously, how many times did he die in that hellhole? Huh, kid? Kang peels off the robot's thick hide, thinking he might be able to make something useful out of it. He wraps the hide around his hand, already picturing some kind of armor. And with his crafting skills, he whips up some protection for his hands and legs, even if it's just basic level stuff. Kang is totally stoked with his creation, stubbornly proud that he turned that robot into something super useful for himself. Now he's feeling unstoppable. Kang heads out to take down even more robots. Meanwhile, Red Butterfly notices she's in second place and gets totally worked up and stressed out. She's like, who the heck is this Kang guy and where did he even come from? Other hunters swoop in, trying to snatch her crystals. But Red Butterfly busts out a ninja leap, strikes some wild poses, and unleashes a massive energy blast that wipes everyone out. Even though she's winning, there are still over 100 hunters swarming around her, and out of nowhere, Muscly Mom shows up, smashing everything and tossing hunters left and right. Seriously, hunters are flying everywhere. Muscly Mom rushes over to Red Butterfly, looking super worried. If Red Butterfly is hurt, it's obvious. Muscly Mom has a big sister complex and totally looks after her. Right next to Muscly Mom is a guy with glasses and a sharp look, plus a silver-haired hunter and the whole Muscly squad. Word is, they've got 88 crystals. And maybe, just maybe, they could hand them over to Red Butterfly. You know, just to make sure she snags first place. But Red Butterfly totally turns them down. She tells everyone to freeze right where they are. Then, in a flash, she takes a giant leap and bounces far away from there. Now the scene cuts back to Mr. Cool and the businessman. The guy's watching the test and wondering how Kang got so insanely strong. He figures Kang must have been some kind of special hunter. But he never imagined Kang could actually make it to the top. The guy's mind is racing with questions. He wonders if Kang maybe explored some dungeon legally, because there's no record of his abilities yet. At the same time, Kang doesn't seem to have any kind of criminal record either. This dude is seriously baffled, and he starts comparing Kang, Red Butterfly, and toys. In his head, it's like a game head dying to see these guys go head-to-head. Meanwhile, Kang, totally starving and wiped out, actually thinks about eating the robot's hide when he bites his gross. He spits it out right away. Like, seriously? Crazy Kang grumbles that his brain must be fried. And suddenly, he senses someone coming at him at lightning speed, and there she is, Red Butterfly, launching a surprise attack. Kang dodges her attack with ease, and she gets into a fighting stance, asking if Kang is all by himself, or does he have a crew? Kang, grinning from ear to ear, totally lies and says he's got 150 henchmen just waiting for his command. Come on, this guy is such a liar, are you kidding me? Red Butterfly sees right through his bluff in a heartbeat, checking out the whole scene. She's sure Kang is actually flying solo. Now, with a super serious face, she says she's actually going to enjoy this fight. She activates her martial arts skills. Kang realizes she's at level 14, even though that's 7 levels below him. Kang gets ready to throw down with her. She charges at him again and lands a punch right in the middle of his face. He blocks it with both arms, but that punch is so strong it sends him sliding backward. And before he can even make a move, she's already winding up for a massive kick, but he manages to dodge at the very last second. That kick is so strong and so fast that the tips of her toes turn red from the sheer speed, but Kang dodges it. Then, she follows up with another kick, this time coming down from above, and he manages to dodge again. The kick is so powerful it shakes the whole ground, cracking it all over. If he wasn't using the battle assistant, he'd be totally screwed. As he watches another blow coming straight for his face, he manages to dodge again, all thanks to the assistant. Man, that woman is insanely fast. Seriously, that battle assistant can adapt right in the middle of the fight. So, dodging isn't much of a problem for him, but landing a counterattack, yeah, that's not happening either. And she gets ready again to throw another kick. With that insanely tight leg, dude, you've got to be kidding me. Apparently, folks, she's a Muay Thai fighter. No doubt about it. He ducks, and if things keep going like this, he's gonna lose. Watching her, he thinks to himself, that he was saving this move for later, since it'd be way too dangerous to use on humans. But with someone like her, there's no point in hesitating. He braces himself as she charges straight at him. After all, if he doesn't go all out, there's no way hell lasts much longer. So he starts channeling power into his hand. That fierce energy surges up, boosted by his battle assistant. Now his fist glows blue, totally clashing with her fiery red power. The two of them rush at each other at breakneck speed. Determined to win this battle, they unleash a massive earth-shattering blast that obliterates everything around, turning the place into total rubble. That surge of power is felt all across the area, and she's absolutely stunned by the sheer force of it. Her arm just can't handle the impact. It snaps instantly. She feels the shockwave and all the pain, her wrist and arm both breaking at once. Kang, all sweaty, looks like he's won and tells her to hand over those pieces she's got. So she tosses him the bag of crystals and says she can't believe she lost to someone like him. What kind of skill was that anyway? Yeah, my skill's pretty awesome, isn't it, darling? And suddenly he hears someone shouting, "Sis!" And here comes Mosquito, landing a massive blow and sending our protagonist flying. Dude, are you kidding me? The guy crashes down, and Kang goes tumbling over and over. He looks like he just got run over by a truck. Seriously, what the heck? Mosquito says, "Hey, it's that guy from before." They never thought they'd run into that guy again. Mosquito notices that Butterfly's arm is broken, and she asks if it was that guy who did this to her. She just tells her to forget about it. Even the two of them together couldn't take down that maniac. Our boy Kang, still sprawled on the ground, points his finger and says, "Yep, he's the one who broke Lei." So, what's she gonna do about it? Then, suddenly, an announcement cuts through everything, saying that 3 hours have passed, the first round is over, and now they're about to reveal the rankings. Meanwhile, Kang's thinking, if it weren't for that girl, he'd totally be in first place right now. Third place goes to Han and a tie, with 21 pieces. Second place is Kang and a Mo, with 69 pieces. And in first place, Red Butterfly, with a whopping 88 pieces. But she knows she didn't really win, because, let's be real, those crystals actually belong to Kang. He puts his hand on his face and says he'd lost because they handed those pieces over to her while he was all distracted. But Butterfly tells him to wait, that this is all just a big misunderstanding. He's all dramatic, turns away, and tells her to forget about the muscles. She doesn't want to let him leave. After all, he broke the girl's arm and now he just wants to walk away without even saying sorry. Our dear Kang tries to keep his cool and just ignore her. But Mosquito's insults just keep coming, pushing Kang's patience to the absolute limit. He starts thinking about what's fair in this whole mess. The Red Butterfly attacked first, trying to steal his crystals, and then Mosquito's mom jumped in and stole his victory. Kang just loses it. He's absolutely furious, and with his anger off the charts, he activates his domain expansion. Whoa, is this Jujutsu Kaisen or what? A dark, creepy aura wraps around Kang, and these demonic figures start popping up behind him. Mosquito's mom is frozen in fear. She can't move a single inch. While Kang's energy completely overwhelms her, Red Butterfly catches on to what's going down. But that muscle-bound mom, paralyzed by terror, starts shaking in her boots and lets out a scream. She feels like all her energy is being sucked right out of her. Her heart's pounding like crazy, and she clutches her chest, terrified she's about to have a heart attack. The silver-haired woman rushes over to heal her, while a medical team shows up to help with the whole wild scene. It turns into total chaos. Meanwhile, our beloved Kang realizes just how deadly the impact of his domain expansion really is. Even he had no idea his power was that terrifying. So he decides to quietly slip away before anyone can pin the blame on him. Somewhere else, that businessman, Mr. Badass himself, and the other guy are watching everything, totally shell-shocked. Mr. Badass stays deep in thought, totally recognizing Kang's insane potential, and he predicts that, one day, Kang is going to surpass him in strength. He gets up from his chair and tells the businessman that he wants to meet Kang first, not the Red Butterfly. The scene switches to Kang, who's pressing an ice-cold can of Coke to his forehead. He's trying to recover from the mana drain caused by that domain explosion. Out of nowhere, a manager from the Taizun clan shows up and introduces himself, trying to recruit our beloved Kang. The manager promises unlimited resources, all to help him reach his full potential, and assures Kang that the Taizun clan will back him up to achieve greatness. Kang, exhausted, just can't hold back a full-on laugh. He sarcastically asks the manager if he's not also going to help him reach for the stars. Did you catch the sarcasm there? The scene cuts to Big Shot Billionaire chilling in his fancy car. He's rewatching the fight on his tablet, and honestly, it looks straight out of a movie. It's so thrilling, so His bodyguard knocks on the window and says he's sorry. Apparently, Kang turned down his offer. And even with those super sweet conditions, that was kind of expected. He had that feeling because people as strong as him have this special sense of pride even when they turn down an offer like that. The guy just said he mentioned something about some stars. Now, Mr. Big Shot is totally stunned. Stars? Yeah, that's what the guy said. He wondered if it was some new slang the kids are using these days. But honestly, he had no clue what it meant. Does he have any idea what that's supposed to mean? It's the first time he's ever heard that too, and check this out. The red butterfly accepted their offer, just as expected. After all, her only goal was to join the Northern Expedition. He thanks security for a job well done and tells him to head home for now. And tomorrow, he wants to see him again, then he closes the window. The guy keeps mulling over those stars. And what exactly did Kang mean by all that? He's going to have to keep an even closer eye on our Kang. Meanwhile, Kang is chilling, in the car with Yumi, checking out a card. Yumi says those people gave her that card when the test was over, but he's not talking about the card, he's talking about that bow. Box down there, what could be inside? He opens the box and remembers that it was given to Red Butterfly Pie. After all, it wasn't really the plan for that musclehead to mess things up and cause his defeat, but our hero thinks she was just trying to scare him, just to get her to shut up, but maybe she went a little overboard. Anyway, that thing right there is a first-place prize from the test, so it belongs to him. It's his by right, and shall be super grateful if he accepts the gift. So, he really had no choice but to take it. Apparently, those gloves are going to be way more useful than he thought. Those are the Tanai's knuckle gloves. They boost your hand's defense. Oh, and someone reminded him about the new crystal he picked up. She sold it to Jinho Park, you know, that old guy again. Apparently, he really wanted that crystal. And even if they'd sold it to someone else, he would have found another way to get his hands on it. Was it really worth all that trouble for him? Even if it's a crystal moss that's super valuable, someone would still need to so much of it. If someone was pulling the strings behind the scenes, that would explain why he needed so much crystal moss. In that case, it'd actually be better to just contact them directly instead of going through a middleman like Park. She asks if that's all there was as a prize. But if he remembers right, there was money too. But it doesn't look like there's any cash here. She just says it just dropped in. Check this out, a fat little checkman, that's wild. 50 million. I wonder if she wants a little meat with all that cash. Holy moly. So they get home, and he keeps saying that association gives out prizes just for testing. And that just goes to show how much they respect hunters. And look at that, it makes him think hunters just get everything handed to them on a silver platter. Then, out of nowhere, he catches a weird smell and gets this overwhelming, terrifying thirst for blood. It fills his heart. He glances back and tells her to get inside the house quick, or get back in the car. Because something's wrong, something bad is about to go down. He tells her to get in the car and lock the door, and not to come out until he gets back. Kang heads into the alley near Yumi's house. And bam, he walks right into a gruesome horror show. A bunch of guys in black suits, all dead. Totally massacred by someone. In the middle of all that carnage, Kang spots Hsoka, who greets him as if nothing's wrong, cool as a cucumber, and says it's been ages since they last met at the park. Hsoka starts explaining that those dead guys were from the Japanese Yakuza. They found out Ayumi was mixed up in selling those purple crystals and went to her house to squeeze some info out of her. That old geezer reveals he got there first and took everyone out before they could lay a finger on Ayumi. Kang thanks him, but gets straight to the point. Kay asks what he wants in return, and then that old man just grins from ear to ear. He says he's got a tiny little request. He wants to form an alliance with the Taizun clan. Now, our dear Kang is super intrigued and says he needs to check out the old man's background first, just to see if this alliance is actually doable. But the old guy is totally shocked and starts saying he couldn't find a single thing about Kang's past. Looks like someone wiped everything. Every single record about him is just gone. The old man explains that Kang's status as a hunter was basically zero. No skills, no connections, no affiliations. Not tied to any organization at all. But the old guy just can't wrap his head around it. Like how did Kang get his hands on Enshrank crystal? Or actually, a bunch of crystals. Kang, totally messing around, says maybe he's got a case of Alzheimer's, because he can't remember ever getting his hands on such a rare item. Suddenly, the system pops up a warning, someone's out to kill Kang. Before Kang can even process what's happening, the old man lunges at him with a knife. Kang barely dodges, but the attack sends out a massive shockwave, super threatening, and shaking up the whole area. Kang, still with his hands in good shape, yells at the guy to listen to what he's saying. And he pulls one hand out of his pocket, getting ready to throw a huge punch. While the old man thinks Kang is about to fight back, he's totally thrown off by this weird stance. And honestly, he figures our hero's punch probably won't do much anyway. But then he suddenly realizes just how massive the shockwave from that punch really is. And then he notices that in his hands is the first place prize, the one that was given to the red butterfly. But our protagonist just shrugs and says it's legit. Self-defense. The old man, with his sword hidden inside that seemingly harmless staff, starts playing the victim. The protagonist eyes the old man, already getting into a fighting stance. Meanwhile, the old man takes off his coat and tells our little hero that he prefers to make the tough choices. So, if that's how it's gonna be, then that's how it'll be. He slips off his coat and then his suit jacket, leaving just the vest. After all, since Kang doesn't want to listen, maybe he'll get the message with his fists. And in a totally cowardly move, he throws his coat right at Kang. Kang shakes off the coat, telling the old man to quit making him laugh. And then Kang spots that harmless staff, which is now turned into a razor-sharp blade, gleaming under the moonlight. Kang fires up his battle assistant, saying this is totally cheating. But the old man couldn't care less and starts throwing a flurry of attacks at Kang, who manages to dodge every single one. But it's taking everything he's got. Even with his battle assistant's help, he's getting pushed closer and closer to the wall. Those slashes are so precise and deep, they're even slicing through the concrete wall. Cornered, Kang suddenly leaps behind the old man just like a cat would, landing perfectly on his feet. He knows jumping behind was a smart move, but the old man doesn't even hesitate. Bam! He whips around with a deadly strike, aimed right at Kang's head, and Kang dodges at the very last second. The old man's sword whooshes by, missing his head by mere millimeters. Kang grabs the old man by the neck and unleashes his domain expansion domination. The old man clutches his head, and Kang gets ready to land a punch right on the old guy's chin. But before he does, he just grabs the old man by the collar and tells him to go to sleep. Kang gathers all his strength in his legs and tries to toss the old man far away. But right after, he realizes the old man says, "That was just an illusion spell, wasn't it?" It's a pretty weird situation. The old man gets ready to separate Kang's head from his neck. Suddenly, Kang feels that hot blood is about to gush out and screams right on the spot. The old man, still holding his sword high in the air, says he didn't cut Kang's neck on purpose. After all, he has no intention of killing Kang. The old man's got tons of battle experience, and Kang realizes it was just a cut on one of his hands. Now, the old man asks again, who's giving Kang his orders? Kang starts laughing. And Park has no idea what's so funny, but Kang just keeps grinning, looks at the old man, and says he forgot something. And check this out. The old man's sword is getting totally eaten away by Kang's blood, and now the old man looks and realizes it's poisonous blood. And in the very next moment, Kang grabs the old man's head with insane strength, channeling all the power from the soles of his feet right into his hands. He smashes the old man's head into the wall with that insane strength, shattering the entire concrete wall. The old guy drops his sword, which is now just a corroded mess on the floor, and starts trying to scream, but his mouth is covered. That old man doesn't stand a chance. Not against the poison, no matter how much experience he's got. Ah, now I've got you, Park Shizu. But in the very next moment, the old man grabs the protagonist's hand and lands a hit. With his other hand, he snaps the protagonist's arm in two. Ouch! The protagonist screams in pain, and the old man delivers a brutal gang-style kick to his mouth, sending him flying backward along with the old man. They both crash to the ground, totally wiped out, and the old man grabs something from his vest and throws it in his own face. Genge pops his arm back into place and jokes that it looks like a snack. Maybe he could share it with a buddy, definitely not with an old man though. He's thinking, I'm pretty sure I broke the guy's arms and a couple ribs show. The heck is he just getting up like nothing happened? Does this dude have some kind of healing power or what? And check this out, the system keeps warning him that his health dropped below 10%, and his regeneration title just kicked in. And he just shrugs and goes, who knows? So, you ready for another round? The old guy looks at his sword and says, that's enough. Then stands up and tells him he's actually here to offer a deal. Not to fight him, but Kang is totally lost. I mean, the old guy was the one who attacked first. The old man just says maybe he thought he could convince Kang with brute force, but it looks like he ran into way more resistance than he expected. Even if Kang asks who's pulling the strings behind all this, the old guy's not gonna spill. So where did he get that moss from anyway? Our hero just says he rolls solo, he hunts alone, works alone, gathers alone, and cashes in alone. The old man says he gets it, sheathing his sword again and turning his staff back into something harmless. He says maybe it's just a trade secret, but if Kang joins up, Taisheng will give him anything he could ever dream of. And then some, that's what our hero told him, even though he'd never work for anyone else. Well, unless the old man decides to work for him instead, now that's a tempting offer, right? A master. Strong, with poisonous blood. Will the old man take the offer? This old guy, Park, he punches hard and speaks his mind. If Kang keeps chasing this childish, silly dream, Park's out is leaving right now. Hong Kang just bursts out laughing again, flashing that psycho grin, and says he likes this old man way too much to let him walk away. Not now. Hong Kang asks, "So, what's so great about the Taisheng clan anyway?" That clan is nothing more than a third-rate guild in Korea, and it's definitely not the strongest in the world. Not even close. Kang starts mocking them. He says the so-called big shot is just daddy's little boy, Reiki, and that Hsoka would be way better off working with Kang, who's bursting with potential. Hsoka shoots him a deadly glare and says Kang has no idea who he really is. Park, the old guy, keeps insisting that Kang is nothing compared to the big shot's potential. Kang, totally unfazed, just starts laughing and teases the old man even more. He says that the old dude, who almost lost to Kang, has no right to talk about anyone's potential after all. He's already at the end of his own, isn't he? Now Hsoka gets insanely furious and swings around with that rusty blade, which honestly looks like it's about to snap any second, and goes in for a killer strike. The blow is so powerful that Kang gets slammed into the wall with such force that everything cracks apart. The wall literally splits in half. Are you kidding me? But Kang comes out of it almost untouched, with just a tiny scratch on his cheek. Kang realizes just how precise Hsoka's attack was, and that he didn't actually hurt Kang on purpose. Kang is left speechless and finally gets that this old guy isn't messing around. And he wasn't even taking the fight seriously. The old man keeps going, saying there are people way stronger than Kang in the Taisheng clan. He even says that one guy jumped from level 10 to level 20 in less than 2 months. Now Kang's inflated ego takes a serious hit. He suddenly changes his expression and says, dead serious, that he's going to prove his potential. By reaching level 20, in just 2 weeks, Kang throws down a challenge. If he pulls it off, the old man has to work for him. The old man just puts his cap back on and says, that's impossible. He reminds Kang that the boss had all sorts of resources and training grounds that his dad gave him, and the old man calls Kang a real troublemaker, then walks away. Kang, with that psycho grin of his, says once again that he knows the perfect place to train. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? It's the little hellhole. The scene shifts to Kang heading back to hell. Told you so. Kang takes out his anger on a goblin, but now that hell has cranked up the difficulty to the star of apocalypse, Kang lands a flurry of blows right on the goblin's ugly mug. The goblin's face starts getting all squished, and he tries to defend himself with his hands. But Kang's punches are dead and insanely powerful. He unleashes a barrage of hits with pure brutality and zero chill. The goblin tries to bite his hand, and Kang definitely feels that pain. But in the very next moment, he's dead set on smashing him even more. Kang smashes the goblin's head into the ground with insane force, shattering the floor beneath them. The goblin tries to get Kang's hand out of his mouth, but nope, no luck. Meanwhile, Kang's yelling, "Chew on that! You really shouldn't try to spit out what you put in your mouth, you idiot. And you better chew that hand real good." The goblin grabs onto Kang's shirt, begging for mercy and kicking his legs around like crazy. But it's all for nothing. Our hero just keeps tearing up that goblin's hand with every bite. And when he's done, he feels totally recharged. As for the goblin's face, poor guy, it's basically just pate now. And hey, check this out. His level just shot up to level 15. The Star of Conquest is on the move and keeping a close eye on our hero. He looks up and doesn't see a thing. But even though there's nothing there, he raises his fist to the sky still, all bloody, then ducks away to bandage his hand, thinking he shouldn't push his body too hard. Out of nowhere, Ren pops up behind him and sticks a straw into his injured hand so she can drink his blood. That little vampire Ren is totally messing with him, saying Kang should hurt himself more often because fresh blood tastes absolutely phenomenal. Kang is now totally ticked off, but at the same time, kind of happy. After all, he just wiped out hundreds of goblins, piling up a literal mountain of bodies. He's gotten way better, but there's still one problem. The red-hooded goblin he ran into before. That was the very first goblin he ever met. Out of all the goblins he's fought, he still hasn't found that one here. As he's watching, to suck his blood dry. That one's probably the strongest goblin he's ever come across. Suddenly he notices, the screech of metal scraping against the wall, and there he is. The red-hooded goblin. He jumps and hides. Of course, the moment he mentions the guy, he shows up. He tells Renian to hide, but then realizes she's not even there. that Goblin's hand got wrecked by Kang's poisonous blood, and now he's rocking a metal hook. The Goblin stares in absolute horror at that pile of dead goblins and just breaks down, bawling in pain and screaming his lungs out to the four winds. Kang is totally stunned and asks if the Goblin actually has real emotions. The red-capped Goblin's sadness flips to pure rage, and he starts screaming his head off. Looking up at the sky, Kang realizes something. He's just ticked off that Goblin big time. Kang gets ready to throw down. He ties 3 poison darts to his hand, shouting at the Goblin to stop wasting his time, and jumps right in. Bring it on, nice and easy. Big guy. The Goblin charges at him, screaming, with pure hatred written all over his face. And that's when we realize Kang is done for. He's dead. And his total survival time, 12 days, 6 hours, 58 minutes, and 4 seconds. But wait, there's a new mission. Enemies, on a wooden bridge. It's on. Please defeat the black-handed Goblin. Apocalypse difficulty. Oh man, he's lying on the ground, thinking he really ticked off that Goblin big time, and now he's totally freaked out. Got turned into Goblin pate, poor guy. But then, standing next to the purple crystal, he thinks, in the end, that dude's just a goblin, and gets back up, fired up, and ready to go again. He just needs to lure that creature into a trap. Just like any other mob. He's gonna get some poison spikes to use in the trap, or maybe dig a deep hole to catch it. Meanwhile, the Goblin sneaks up on him, comes in all sly, and sinks its claws right into his neck. Once again, Kang bites the dust he lasted barely a minute. Are you out of your mind? The poor guy's already on his 6th try. Kang revives again, running around like a maniac, totally desperate, with no clue what to do. While all those deaths keep happening, we just see Kang, respawning and getting killed over and over by the Goblin, who's acting like some bloodthirsty demon. Sometimes the Goblin chops off Kang's leg, sometimes he slices him right in half, and other times he just stabs Kang over and over until he's done for. Naturally, Kang gets killed so many times that the Goblin actually levels up to 20. And check out that Goblin's name, Curson. He starts to notice he hasn't seen that human around for days. Did he really leave for good? But apparently, it's way too soon to let his guard down. Not only can he come back to life, but he's also super sneaky. He just can't let his guard down, not even for a second. Is that what that guy is plotting? He's on high alert, thinking he's got to get close to him no matter what. Look at that. Another Goblin calls him Curson. This is bad. Where did everyone else go? He thought he told him not to leave that spot. Wait, are they all dying? Someone poisoned their entire water supply, and he's got to get back right now. Back at the Goblin village, a bunch of goblins are slowly dying stuck in bed. Poor things, while the others huddle around the fire to keep warm. Looks like someone mixed poison into their water supplies. They can't even eat the animals they raised. Look, at this, everything's dead. Who could do something so cruel? Now Curson is disgusted, his eyes brimming with tears. And then it hits him, it was him. He's the only one who could pull this off with that gross, corrosive blood of his. But how did he find that place? Did he follow him? He should have captured him, kept him alive, instead of killing him, no doubt about it, because that guy just keeps surviving every single time. Then, an old Goblin gentleman calls out to him. He knows Curson's busy, but he really needs to talk to him. He wants him to take a look at this, and at this kid. The Goblin goes searching everywhere for Curson, calling him Dad. Oh boy, a Goblin calling him Dad, maybe even a Goblin king, but Curson's dead, set on sending him straight to the pit. That guy just turns his back and doesn't talk to anyone. One of the Goblins grabs his shoulder and tells him to stop. What can he possibly do against an enemy who can come back to life? All they need to do is give up on revenge. Then, the humans won't have any reason to bother them ever again. They need to run away and find a new place before things get even worse. But Kishin is stubborn as ever. He raises his sword high, gleaming, catching the light from the crystals. And he says the crystals are whispering to them. So, they don't have a choice. Unfortunately, one of the scouts who just went out is already dead in a ridiculously brutal way. He can smell the poison in the air, and he's sure it was that disgusting human, but maybe it's a trap. No doubt about it, he orders everyone to fall back. He'll go alone. The fact that he left clues like this must mean he's trying to lure us somewhere a bit farther away. One of the others, without hesitation, tells everyone to head back and get ready in case of a surprise attack. The guys also say that he should come back too. After all, what would they do without him? He says he's staying here and going after him. Even though his growth rate is higher than he expected, he's still not stronger than him. No doubt about it, Christian has already memorized everything, how he breathes, walks, talks, his habits. He's got it all down and knows everything about that guy. He could take out that disgusting human with his eyes closed, so everyone should just leave it to him. The old folks there don't want Christian to go, but they don't really have a choice. The only thing they can do is trust. That red-hooded goblin said he's coming back alive, no matter what happens. Everyone there believes in Kirsten's strength. He keeps wandering through the foggy alleys of hell, chasing after Kang, when suddenly he hears a noise and defends himself, a poisoned dart, lightning fast. Now he's found Gang and tells him not to expect a painless death. He's going to die in the most horrible way possible for a human. But on the other side, Gang is super hyped, grinning, and says he's got an absolutely amazing offer for that goblin own he's going to love. Gang says hell give Kirsten a chance to die, by his own hands. Kirsten is totally baffled and asks why Gang is wasting time here. Could it be that he wants everyone in the village to die from poisoning? But Kang just answers coldly, saying that if he really wanted to kill them, he could have wiped out that whole village without even breaking a sweat. Kang starts explaining that by mixing just a few drops of blood into the water, only a handful of goblins died, while the rest just got sick. If he'd used more than half, the entire village would have been toast. Hearing that, Kirsten starts to feel a massive ringing in his head, and he gets absolutely furious. Blinded by rage and hatred, Kirsten charges at Kang with his sword. But Kang just grabs the sword with his bare hands and, flashing a psychotic grin, threatens Kirsten. Kang says he doesn't give a damn about Kirsten's family, he's only after revenge. But Kang warns him if Kirsten keeps coming after him, not even he knows what horrors he might unleash on the lives of the goblins. Hearing that, Kirsten's body just goes limp, completely shaken by Kang's words. His whole world flips upside down, swallowed by despair, and he begs Kang to leave his family alone. He throws the sword at Kang's feet and bows his head, totally defeated and humiliated. Kirsten says Kang can kill him if he wants, but he has to spare everyone in the village. Kang seems to agree, lowering his head to pick up Kirsten's sword. But to your absolute delight, it was all just a trap. Kirsten kicks Kang, with a monstrous force sending him flying. Kang crashes onto his back and hits the ground hard. Looking up, he spots the goblin's shadow among the stars. The goblin slashes Kang with a deep cut, looking absolutely furious and disgusted. He grits his teeth. Kang tries to hold on to his sword. The goblin calls him a despicable human and lands even more blows on him. He would never believe the filthy words of a human. Did Kang really think he'd just agree with everything he said? And so, he starts raining down blow after blow on Kang, with savage brutality, pouring out all the hatred from the depths of his soul. He makes sure it hurts as much as possible. The goblin keeps tearing into Kang, but never hits any of his vital spots. And now Kang grins. After the goblin stops, he calls Kang an idiot, saying he should have finished him off already. His health drops below 10%. The regeneration is about to kick in. With the advantage of the title, The Last One, our hero lands a punch right in the middle of Kirsten's ribs. A tremendous, bone-chilling shock. The shockwave is so intense it bursts right out the other side of his ribs. Are you out of your mind? When Kirsten is about to cough up blood, he quickly puffs out his cheeks and swallows it back down. Seriously, are you nuts? Kang grabs him by the throat and braces his other hand on the ground. Meanwhile, the goblin is shaking in his boots. But even so, he raises his claw. The goblin drops his sword, but still raises his claw. And then, the massage sequence begins. After all, Kang is basically a goblin therapist and starts giving him all sorts of massages, working over every single one of the goblin's ribs. Dang. The goblin feels the impact, and suddenly, one of the blows is so powerful that he gets launched straight into the wall. The shock is so intense it dents the whole concrete wall, but the goblin is tough. As he falls, the goblin hits the ground again, while our protagonist just grins, saying he was actually holding back a little. And look at that, he even gave the goblin a chance to walk away alive. Now the goblin, totally grossed out and ticked off, clenches his fist and screams. How dare he say something like that? And there's our massage therapist Kang again, giving the goblin yet another round of massages. Are you out of your mind, dude? Goblins are so tough that even that wall over there thinks it's something special. And check it out, that concrete is insanely thick. The goblin just keeps getting smacked around. Seriously, are you nuts? While he's getting pummeled, he wonders how. How is that guy still has enough power to fight back? Is he healing that fast or something? Or is he hiding some secret skill? How? How can he be this strong? That despicable human while Kang is working him over. He lands a bunch of hits on the goblin's bits. His ears, his chin, and even throws in a knee massage right to the gut. You're crazy, and just look when the goblin tries to catch his breath for a second. The main guy comes in with another punch right in the middle of his bits and then kicks him in the chin. There's black blood on one side and teeth on the other. Meanwhile, the Goblin keeps wondering how someone so close to death could pull this off. His thoughts are all jumbled, and he convinces himself that this isn't anything special. He's totally wrecked, humiliated, destroyed, massacred, splattered on the ground, completely out of strength. But he still keeps asking himself, how is this even possible? Who is this guy, really? He'd already managed to kill him with just a single blow, not too long ago. Did they never actually fight for real? He remembers all the times he killed that guy while the gang taunts him. Do you really think you'll be able to kill whenever you want? In the end, he was incredibly careless. The blame was all his. The Goblin tells him to stop, his voice soft but dripping with bloodlust. Breathing out, hot, steaming air, practically fuming. He says that human is ridiculously arrogant. He can handle trash like him any day. As long as he can stay on his feet, that is. So he gets up, determined to make sure he keeps that guy's head as a trophy. So there's no way he's making it out alive. Sadly, the Goblin, who'd been holding back all that pain in his body, just can't take it anymore. He opens his mouth and just spews out all that ketchup-looking stuff. Meanwhile, our protagonist is grinning, still standing tall, watching that Goblin totally humiliated on the ground, groveling right in front of him. He says, well, that's a little too late now. And now, the poison is already kicking in. He managed to pump a whole lot of poison into that Goblin's body with his darts, all while pounding on his ribs. He tells the Goblin to hang in there a little longer, because he's got zero intention of being careless, unlike a certain someone in the room. The Goblin raises his metal hand and tells him to wait. And he apologizes for having killed all this time, he's been doing that. And he asks him to listen carefully. Those goblins couldn't be blessed, and they can't live here. If he dies, all his people will die too. And he said he never wanted to bring harm to his family. The Silver One grins and thinks, oh, really? If he dies, his whole people die too? But the Goblin keeps shouting, his voice shaking, saying they're not able to survive, and that they're all going to die. While that Goblin's squashed face starts to droop, Kang grins, holding his poisoned dart. He asks the Goblin if he'll get experience points too if he manages to wipe out the whole Goblin race. He snaps the tip off the dart and kicks that Goblin so hard its head goes flying through the air. Are you out of your mind? Beneath the blood-red, hellish moonlight, that Goblin will live no more. Kang, now standing tall with his arms wide open like he's on the Titanic, soaks in the view of that ruined city in hell. Grinning from ear to ear, he gets a system notification. Kang has completed his mission. He's taken down the Red Hood Goblin, level 21. And just like that, he completed the mission to defeat all the enemies on a wooden bridge. Now, he's about to get a silver chest as his reward. But wait, bam! That silver chest just turned into a gold one. The mission reward got upgraded to match the extra challenge. A bunch of level up pop-ups started exploding all over the screen, and his return loss perk just kicked in. Check this out. He leveled up 3 times just for taking down that Goblin 2 days before apocalypse, on hell difficulty no less. And get this, the time left until the next mission is 21 days. The fragile Star Gauls has been watching him. Looks like he gets more experience when he's out for revenge. And look who's absolutely thrilled and starving, just itching to get a taste of Kang's blood. But Kang just ignores her and says he's kind of busy with some super important work right now. He starts wondering, why was that Goblin so strong, way stronger than the usual ones? Even though the Goblin boss was only level 20, his power was insanely terrifying and totally different. While checking out the Goblin's body, he notices some weird symbols on its hands. And when Kang touches those marks, the letters start floating up into the air. Now he's even more confused, and he sees this giant black ball forming like some thick, inky darkness. The brittle Star Gauls is guiding his hand. He has no clue what's about to happen next. That black sphere in the air shoots out some seriously weird pen-like lightning bolts that go right through his hand. And just like that, another mark gets added. Inside his body, he's absorbed a piece of the brittle Gaul's star, and he's learned something new. Family, you had legendary skills. They just picked up another one. So, we're back on Earth, once again. Yumi is sleeping, peacefully, totally silent. Out of nowhere, Kang shows up, calling out to Yumi. She wakes up totally freaked out, sitting up in bed, still in shock. Without RAR glasses, she sees Kang and looks at him like she's just seen a ghost. Yumi puts on RAR glasses, still a bit shaken. And she asks, kind of sadly, if Kang has eaten anything yet. Kang says no, and she gets out of bed, and all sad and sweet, says she'll make him something to eat. Seeing Yumi like that, Kang grabs RAR hand and asks why she's so down, poor thing, but he's already there to take care of RAR. He tries to comfort RAR, and he realizes she's totally upset because, come on, imagine, he disappeared for 3 days, and they were living together. Kagaya remembers that he didn't tell Ayumi whole truth about where he was. Ayumi, looking absolutely heartbroken, says that last time she saw him, he dropped Ra off at Ra door and then just ran off. She explains she was super worried about him, like, seriously, dude. He tells Ra to go inside, close door, then bolts out of nowhere and disappears for 3 days. She tried calling Kang, but, sadly, nothing happened. Phone didn't even ring. She searched for every comm she could find, but came up empty, and nobody had a clue where that guy had disappeared to. She noticed a bunch of weird things connected to Kang. But every time Kang vanishes, she's scared that one day he'll disappear and never come back. Poor Ayumi, she just starts crying nonstop, shoves his hand away, and starts yelling, demanding that he tell Ra everything. Does he have another family? Maybe a lover? Or what secrets is he hiding? Spill, it's all right now. Kang grabs Ra's shoulders firmly and asks Ra to calm down, promising he'll explain everything. He pulls Ra into his chest and tries to comfort Ra, poor thing. He realizes things are getting seriously tense. So Kang spills whole story to Yumi, and he explains how that pendant took him to another world, specifically Underworld, a place that's absolutely terrifying, and there he cultivates. That's how he gets stronger, by dying dozens of times. Just imagine that. Oh, I disappeared? Yeah, I just went off to die 10, 20 times and now I'm back. Like, yeah, she's totally gonna be thrilled. Next time I disappear. Right? Hearing all this, Ra's sadness just gets even heavier. And she asks, what about next time? If he doesn't get a chance to come back, what's he gonna do? Kang admits that maybe there won't be a chance for him to return. And yeah, dying is definitely on table too. But no matter how long it takes, he promises he'll always come back to Earth, just for Ra. He grabs Ra's hand and tells Ra he wants Ra to be his light in darkness. When he comes back, he confesses his love to Ayumi all over again. Hearing that whole heartfelt confession, she's absolutely over moon. She throws herself onto Kang's shoulder, all emotional and giddy. And out of nowhere, Ayumi takes off Ra's glasses, looks at Kang with this adorable, flirty smile. And a mischievous tone, she says she's ready to be light in his darkness, but then he remembers last time. He tells Ra to back off. After all, he just fought off hundreds of goblins and hasn't showered in 3 days. She goes, hey, this is serious. And she lies down on his lap. Looking right at him, she says she hasn't showered either. How about she joins him for a shower, huh? Now, Kang, there's no escape for you. You're out of your mind. 3 days without a shower, dude, fighting off hundreds of goblins. Holy moly. Stench must be wild, man. You're crazy. And after that reunion, which, let's be real, was way tougher than fighting 100 goblins, because we all know what went down in that shower, wakes up, totally wiped out, stretching all over place. Super hungry, Kang heads downstairs, while Park waits outside. You had a big ol' grin. He hops into Park's car and chills, bragging about hitting level 20 in just 2 weeks. Old man skeptical. Can he really prove it? Kang gets why Park's doubting him. But he says maybe Park's just making excuses because he doesn't want to admit how much Kang's leveled up. Out of nowhere, Kang teases him, saying he's gonna jack up price of his crystal steel by 15%. Now Berth is absolutely fuming. He shoots Kang a deadly glare, telling him he can't do that. Kang, with a super sarcastic grin, grabs a shard of crystal and asks Park if he really knows what a monopoly is. He explains that he's got entire stockpile of crystals, and if Park doesn't want to buy, he'll just sell it to someone else. But Kang actually likes that old guy, so he's offering to sell to him, basically leaving him with no choice. Park says he already sells some crystals to Kang at 15% above usual price. And now, Kang wants to raise price? Our protagonist just answers with a phase that says he couldn't care less and tells him if he doesn't pay up, they're done doing business. Speaking of which, Kang snaps his fingers and snatches crystal moss back. Old man is totally thrown off. Suddenly, Kang tosses something into Hsoka's hand. Park and Hsoka, eyes popping out of their heads, stare at a legendary ring. That thing isn't just any old ring, it doubles all of Park's senses. For someone who relies on their senses, that's just insane. Now Kang throws out a wickedly sly question. Has Big Shot ever given him a gift like that? Old man hesitates and admits, "Nope, never." Kang grins and says, Longer you wait, more time passes, and you're just gonna end up weak and old. But, by Kang's side, he'll become way more valuable than he ever would you at that big shot. Old man starts thinking, and realizes that working for that big shot never helped him grow at all. But Kang? He's handing out legendary gifts for free. It's getting really hard to ignore all those perks. Meanwhile, Kang is just grinning to himself. And now, we finally see real purpose of ring. It's not a gift. Ring is actually a pair. Kang's got other one. Because of that, he can track his and cut his power by 50%. So, this isn't about generosity at all, it's straight up manipulation. Let's be real, Kang is a legit strategist too. Scene shifts, and now we see Kang and old man getting wrecked in a ring. 1 minute old guy's landing punches, next, Kang's getting smacked around. This is wild. An old dude beating up Kang like he's teaching him a lesson. He says that Kang isn't just some random group of ability users. It's a place where hunters train, get ready, and build insanely strong bodies for battlefield, which they call Tanjo. Kang tries to keep up at old man's moves, but all he can do is defend himself, while old man just keeps wailing on him. He says that clan can hook you up at publicity, tax services, housing, clothes, training, and a bunch of other perks plus health insurance, transportation, budgets, legal stuff, basically everything a hunter could ever need. So how in world can our beloved protagonist pull this off and land a massive writ right in his ribs? He says that every hunter is basically like a small business. While Kang is groaning in pain, old man pauses and says that among them is Taishun. That guy's got best perks in whole world. Whether it's glory or cash, he's got it all. It's a huge loss for any hunter not to team up with Taishun. Our little protagonist, gasping for air, manages to say, Taishun. He says he'll never join him and throws a right hook at old man. But old man dodges, counters at a massive blow to his stomach. Shockwave from that power is absolutely terrifying. Like seriously, what heck? Our hero is left groaning in pain on floor, and old man just comments that his reaction time is pretty quick. His regenerative ability is just pathetic. Protagonist tries to get up, still gasping, and says he might broken a few ribs at that punch. But does old man really think he's lasted this long without any skills? Or does old guy think he's just going easy on him? Then, he takes off his shirt, showing old man that he's not messing around covered in battle scars. Like, seriously, it's wild. He says he's gonna have to do a lot more to make sure guy's really at his limit. Dang, old man is ripped, seriously. That cane was just for show, I'm telling you. Park starts moving, insanely, fast. And he asks, if it's not for Taishun, then where was DJ even going? Protagonist dodges at a ton of effort, trying to answer his questions at same time, saying that guy's got it all wrong. Wrong, since only thing anyone knows about their leader is just his name. Is he maybe trying to go to National Association of Ability Users, also known as NAU? Old man keeps landing more hits on him, all while asking if that's where he wants to go. Park says he's still thinking about it. After all, those guys are super down to earth and incredibly welcoming. He plants his feet on ground and gets ready to throw a right hook at old man. But old man catches onto his move, even though he thinks this is his big chance. But in very next moment, old man blocks his attack at his arm, twists it, breaking it yet again. And would you look at that? His health just took a nosedive, dropping to less than 10%. He activated regeneration. Protagonist starts swinging his arm to pop it back into place. Super fast, and he does it over and over. Old man notices that our little protagonist is healing, putting his arm back where it belongs. Just look at protagonist's face, dude. That's gotta hurt like crazy, seriously. He starts cursing the damn old man in his head. Meanwhile, old man says that last time he thinks something pretty similar happened, didn't it? Park sits down and asks if old man's happy now that he won. Old man thinks he's actually pretty excited. After all, Park's growth has been huge these past few weeks. And now that they've tested each other, why did he call him there, anyway? Old man hands him a bottle of water. He asks if he's ever heard about some stars. Old man's like, what, stars? Have you ever heard anything about them before? Park thinks the protagonist is talking about user class system UID abilities. But nope, that's not it. Means stuff like brittle stars, stars of lamentation, star, fragments, or things like that. Now old man gets it and knows exactly what he's talking about. He heard something about some guys who were top rankers even among Lee and Ji Tai. It's something that only a chosen few know about. There was this guy in top ranker Shao from China. He talked about a group called 5-Star Association, which created an offshoot, that association of users U and half abilities, called Reverse Crusade. They also use those Bethlehem stars as their symbol. Apparently, there's more to this whole thing than he thought. And he asks what those 5 Bethlehem stars are all about. And old man just says he can go find out for himself. An old guy invites him to try clearing an Adanyo together at him. And that's it. Chapter wraps up you at a massive silver gate under a glowing sky. Dang, UID, every episode, story just keeps getting crazier and better. And what about that goblin? Seriously, I really didn't want that goblin to die. And what's gonna happen to his family now? And you know what? Protagonist wants you to smash that like button for next part. That's it from me, thanks a ton, and check out next video.